But Manuch, it's going to be. I have a feeling it's going to be one of those years for this team.
Not a good way to start off.
They're going to have some bad luck, and here it is. You already lose your top linebacker, and now you've lost you may have lost your top pick and somebody that you knew you were going to just slot right in, and you need him on defense. This defense is going to be really bad.
And he was having a hell of a camp.
Yeah.
He was really playing well. And
too.
Jonathan Gannon, about 2 weeks ago, they were asking him about Darius Robinson. They said, does he have a chance to start this year? And he's got about 1,000% chance of starting this year. A lot of folks said the way he moves, his high motor, as they talk about, that Jonathan Gruden talked about for years, his intensity of practice, his want to, was really special for them. And then Jonathan Gannon loved that. And now with this calf injury, we don't know if it's a strain. We don't know if it's a tear. Obviously, with the MRI, it'll show you. If it's a strain, I mean, I've had a few strains and a tear. Strains maybe 2. Foot. That's where that explosion comes from. I guess the saving grace is it wasn't an Achilles. I mean, it didn't blow the Achilles. It's a calf, whether it's a tear or a strain, yet to be seen. But it could be a good 2 to 3 weeks minimum. Maybe he's back for the opening game. I would err on the side of caution and maybe hold him out that first game, even if he is ready.
So the injury happened in a closed portion of the team's practice yesterday, and when the news got out, it kind of annoyed Jonathan Gannon. He said reports that came out happened in a closed portion of practice. So I'm not real fired up about that, guys. And he went on to say, the guys that were there and didn't report on it, thank you to adhering to our policy. He's getting imaging today. He's got a calf, and that was it.
Yeah, I hear that, and I go, okay, you got to be respectful. If they don't want you reporting, they don't want you reporting. In the meantime, I wouldn't get too fired up about it. I guess why he's fired up about it is, look, guys, there might be some things during the regular year in the closed practice, but if it's closed, who was there to see it or report it, or how did that information get out? So if there's nobody there, where did it leak from? How did, is there somebody inside that knows somebody? And I don't know. If it's closed, where's it coming from? But on the other side, I get it, John. I think that was Jonathan Gannon's shot at, look, guys, if it's closed, if we got some report, we'll go ahead and report it. Let us be the front runner of reporting anything that's closed. Now, if you're out there and something happens in the first 20 or 25 minutes of practice and you guys see something, somebody goes down, whatever, and you come to us, we'll give you whatever we can.
If this practice was clearly closed to the media and this did get out, this looks bad on him.
Oh, absolutely.
Or who's running the show out there?
Yeah.
And that's probably why he's pissed off, because he's like, hey, this is under my watch, and this gets reported, that he got carried off on a cart.
Here's a couple things. Okay, for those guys that were there didn't report it, good. Now, is he assuming that somebody, another reporter reported this? And if he's assuming that, okay, but that reporter had to get the information from somebody. If all the guys that were there and accounted for sent that information out there. I mean, it's kind of like, okay, guys, let's not get into, I call it reporter patrol. Let's not worry about that. Okay, it's a calf. It got out there. He's fired his shot. Appreciate you guys that were there, but let's keep it under wraps till we come out with some kind of official statement. I think that's what he's saying. It just, I think he's just saying, hey, look, let's adhere to the policy. Let's just keep it this way. So what are they going to do? I mean, who reported? I mean, is there a trail? Is there a paper trail? Is there a text to who this came from? And if there is, what are they going to do? Take his credential away, or just have like a warning? Appreciate you if you don't report it during the closed time during practice. Some of these things I just kind of find silly, Rock, that they report that.
I agree, and it could have stemmed from one tweet that went out from one longtime radio host and someone who covered the Cardinals at a very, very long time. He did for a long time, and said Darius Robinson was told he was dealing with a leg strain and probably missed some time, which is excellent news. That was early this morning.
I mean, okay, what's wrong with that? I mean, the public, you've got 3 weeks, literally 2 weeks. You got the game Sunday. He's got 2 weeks to get ready if he can be ready. And I don't think they want to put him out there unless he's 100% and he can go full bore on a consistent basis. So, I mean, we're going to call this report gate now. I mean, I think I think Jonathan Gannon's spoken his piece. You move on, and I think all the other folks, if you get somebody telling you that Darius Robinson had an issue and it's been dealt with, and you put it out there, okay.
Here's the thing, Howard Balzer comes on our show, comes on Jody's show, goes on the other stations, and he sent a tweet out yesterday, about 20 hours ago. Okay, and he said, according to league source,
sure,
Cardinals rookie defensive lineman Darius Robinson will have imaging Friday for an injury that occurred today.
So he got it from a league.
If he's the one who leaked it, that's not leaking it because he's getting it from a league source. He's doing his job.
I was just say right. He is doing his job.
Totally doing his
Somebody
job.
gave him a heads up, or he might have talked to somebody, a league source, and say, "Hey, look, we understand Darius Robinson has an injury, not knowing what it is, and he's just reporting it. He has every right to report that because if that went to the league via the Arizona Cardinals, and he's got a connection there with the league that said, hey, look, heads up, looks like Darius Robinson. What do you know?" Or if he's doing his job and going to the league sources, say, hey, look, I'm going around the league to see if there's any injuries. Here we are, the last preseason game of the weekend. Is there anything going on out there with the Cardinals, with the Rams, with whomever? There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. I don't think at all. If it's coming from somebody aside that wasn't at that practice, so obviously it was a league source. So the Cardinals must report it to the league because you have to immediately. And then if Howard's got that connection, so be it. I mean, I think that's good. And
we talked about this the 20 years we've been doing this together. The Cardinals are one of the only organizations that the news that comes out, it's never from the local beat writers. Very rarely.
I would agree with that.
It's from the Republic or the team station or what have you. It's always a national guy
or the ESPN guy that covers the Cardinals. Ian Rappaport's of NFL Network, or I forget the.
Whereas it just makes no sense to me. I mean, being a former PR guy, you basically catered to your local guys.
Yes.
And that was their job to report the good stuff and report the bad stuff. And when it just goes to the national source, I just never understood why the Cardinals have been that way in this PR department. It just, to me, I just never understood it because it doesn't. The other teams in this town, it's typically the news is being broken by more of the local.
Well, they're front and center. They're the one. They're the beat writers. They should get the you would think they get the upfront information. But this is one where Howard got that from a league source and they reported it. And it was always, when we were up at training camp after every practice, whether it be Danny Green or whomever was the head coach, they'd always have their little powwow where the press would get together with them. I remember that. And their little scrums. They would talk, and then if you weren't there watching the close practice, you would always – they were always open, at least training camp. Now that they've broken training camp, you would always say, okay, anything new to report one way or the other. And they would typically tell you. So I don't know if he didn't have anything after the practice yesterday to report. Obviously, they reported to the league. Howard did his job, put it out there, and okay, so be it. Go to the league source there, Jonathan Gannon.
So the Cards will be in Denver to play on Sunday, their final preseason game. Clayton Tune will get the start. Of course, they are 0-2 with their losses to the Colts last week, and 2 weeks ago it was the Saints. But I do think we got to keep an eye on Darius Robinson and what's going to happen with him. I think the Zane Jones news is bigger than I think it's getting right now. I know it's early; it just happened, but for a guy to miss five games right out of the chute sucks for a team that has no depth.
And he's the backup to Marvin Harrison Jr. He was, he's suspended for the 5 game. He was the guy and would get a lot of playing time. So, you got Chris Moore there in that position. Chris could fill that role.
It's going to be Harrison. It's going to be Harrison, Wilson, and Dortch. Right. I mean, that's the 3 guys.
Those 3 guys.
Are you happy going into the season with those 3?
Yeah, I would. I think Dortch is pretty solid. McBride, your tight end. Wilson.
I just like Jones because he's somewhat of a veteran.
Experience.
Yeah. You got the toughest 5 games of the season too.
And
at Buffalo,
the first quarter of the season is
home against Detroit, home against Washington, at San Fran. Like right there, 4 to 5 of those were in the playoffs last year.
And where you get hurt is that's good depth. You need that depth if you play that kind of schedule.
And if Darius is out for more than 2-3 games, that's not going to help things too. So I think teams are going to roll on the Cardinals. I think they're going to put a lot of points on the board. Points, but Cardinals are going to score a lot too if Kyler's doing what he needs to do.
Well, he was pushing Dante Stills, who's a veteran, for that starting job at right defensive end, and they really liked him. So they could, with the way the defense, I think, is going to be set up with a 4-3 front in the 34 front. I think that you look at Rawlis as a defensive coordinator, you want to rotate a lot of guys in, keep the pressure on these quarterbacks, especially when you have a guy like you start off with Allen as your quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, and you see the things he can do running wise and try to put pressure on him. So that's going to hurt. And then the depth of Zay Jones to come in there to spell some of these receivers, or maybe go to a four wide receiver package. He and Chris Moore both would be thought of, but not for the first 5 games.
So our headlines are brought to you by the Twin Peaks Fantastic Tailgating Sweepstakes. You can kick off the football season with us, Twin Peaks, Blue Moon, and Coors Light. It's a season-long fantastic tailgating giveaway. All you have to do is text PEAKS to 59925. You can do it every day for your chance to win this incredible prize. And this is everything that is in the prize. It's a Traeger grill. It's a Blackstone griddle. It's a pizza oven. It's a cornhole set. It's a portable beer pong table. It's an outdoor projector with an inflatable screen. It's a cooler. It's multiple cases of Cocoa 5. It's a $250 Twin Peaks gift card. And the best of all of it, a Roc and Manuch and Jimmy B logoed Wild Gear tumbler. So no purchase necessary. Just text PEAKS to 59925. Standard message and data rates do apply. Again, make this football season unforgettable at Twin Peaks. We'll get into our plays of the day next. It's Fox Sports 910.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Get wings the way you want them. Try Twin Peaks wings, bone-in breaded, naked, smoked and grilled, or boneless in your favorite sauce or rub.
It's Jason Payne, owner of State 48 Roofing. Corners coupling together Petric roofs to meet a budget, not State 48 Roofing. Give us a call today for your maintenance, repair, or full replacement needs.
Hey, sports fans, celebrate every big game with El Bandito Yankee, an ultra-premium tequila made from 100% Blue Weber agave in the highlands of Jalisco. Their certified additive-free Blanco and Reposado feature a unique oxygenation process for a rich smoothness without that tequila burn. That's why they've won platinum and gold medals and are now listed as one of the world's top tequilas by Rolling Stone. Head over to your local store, favorite bar, or restaurant and enjoy. Go to elbanditoyankee.com and break out the Bandito with the official tequila of game day.
Life's a sprint, and you need a quick pick-me-up. Meet G2G Protein Bars, the ultimate grab-and-go meal replacement. Whether you're hustling in the office, enjoying a day on the links, or conquering the daily grind, G2G is your perfect fuel. Score an 8-pack at your local Costco's refrigerated section, or explore amazing flavors at G2GBar.com. Quick, delicious, and power-packed. G2G Protein Bars, setting the pace for your energetic lifestyle.
Dukes on Miller and McDowell.
Get out of the heat and play at Dukes.
Dukes on Miller and McDowell.
A huge new game room is open with foosball, pool tables, shuffleboard, darts, and Pop-A-Shot basketball.
Dukes on Miller and McDowell.
With 3 10-foot TV screens and dozens more big screens, you'll find every game you're looking for.
Dukes on Miller and McDowell.
Voted best sports bar by New Times.
Dukes on Miller and McDowell.
3 huge patios on the Greenbelt, all doggy friendly.
Where Dukes? Where Dukes? Miller and McDowell. Scottsdale.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Time for today's play of the day, courtesy of Document Solutions, leading the valley in business solutions for copier and IT service. Their service can't be copied. 623-252-8282. Now let's get to the play of the day.
No D-backs from last night, but we will talk about them here in about 12 minutes. John Sapichetti will join us from Boston, get a preview of the Sox as they open up a 3-game set with them there in Boston. But yesterday, once again, Paul Skeens pitched another gem. He struck out 9 batters and allowed just 2 hits over 6 innings. But what you're going to hear right now, courtesy of Sportsnet Pittsburgh, is the 5 strikeouts in a row.
At times, he's had games where he's done that. I mean, Steve is really kind of Mr. Pirate, would you say? I mean,
He gets another. And there is strikeout.
See, there's another reason why you don't need color analysts. I mean, I got to hear that. I got to hear the 5 days. I didn't need to hear you, talk about what pitch he just threw. I don't care.
He's got that slider working at 89 miles an hour, brings a heater near to about 99 miles an hour, 9 Ks on the day. I mean, you look at him, this kid he's just phenomenal. I mean, he just brings the heat. You watch him as big as he is, and the variety of pitches, the changeup, the slider, fastball. I mean, he's just a joy to watch. He reminds me a little bit of Kerry Woods sometimes. Remember Kerry Woods there for a few years he was on fire.
He was throwing heat.
He was bringing it.
He was one of the best pitchers
he was
in his era.
But he flamed out after 3 or 4 years. I think the arm finally, shoulder and elbow caught up to the 20 strikeout. We watched Randy Johnson dominate. We watched Nolan Ryan years ago dominate. But Kerry Wood was he was one of those guys that, man, if he could just last for 8-10 years, would have a chance at challenging the record of Nolan Ryan. And unfortunately, the arm issues got in his way, but he could flat bring it and dominate. That's just games reminds me a little bit of.
So yesterday, Ernie Clements hit a home run, and he's been having some success. I think he's got 3 home runs in 3 days. But this came off a pitch 4.6 feet off the ground. It was the second highest hit for a home run in the StatCast era, which only goes back to 2015. But this is something you want to watch. The velocity was over 98 miles an hour, but it's like way up high, and I don't know how far he hit it. I mean, I think it was 360 or 350, somewhere around there. But here's the call.
And a high drive to left field. And this ball is gone. Ernie Clement does it again. Number 10 on the season, and the second in as many games. It is 4-0.
How did he get to that pitch? Unbelievable what Ernie Clement just did to get to 97 miles per hour, miles above the strike zone.
He swings at pitches and hits pitches. Very few other batters do, both high and low. But the remarkable ones, you're exactly right, are the ones above the zone.
I mean, Reggie Jackson used to call the ones right about the letters or right about the home run high fastballs. That one there,
4.6 feet.
That's like he was just trying to put was there hit and run on? I mean, obviously, I don't know if there's a runner on just for him to tomahawk that, but he just crushed it at that kind of velocity and that ball up in the air like that for him to make contact, squared up. I mean, the way he squared it up is just amazing. Usually something like that, you swing it that high. Number one, you don't hit it or you don't touch it. Number two, you might pop it up. But this kid, he's hot. He's squaring it up. He must be seeing the ball like a beach ball. They knocked that ball out of the park. Just as high as it was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we've all swung at the high one, right?
Oh, yeah. Not even close.
Yeah.
And go back to the bench and your coach go, what the hell are you thinking? And you're thinking, well, 2 strikes. And now your excuse is if the hit and run was on, you're swinging at it, whether it's inside outs or wherever it is. But I don't know if hit and run was on or not.
There you have it. That is our sounds of the night. Thanks to Document Solutions of the Valley. If you are looking to buy, lease, or rent a all-in-one printer, you can just give them a call at 623-252-8282. Document Solutions of the Valley. Their service can't be copied.
Yeah, you were talking, Rock, at the break about this Cardinals seem to have bad luck. Okay, so Darius Robinson, we don't know how long he's going to be out. And here you are putting these guys in bubble wrap the entire season. He played a little bit the first game. And guys can still get hurt. Zay Jones suspended for the first 5 games. I mean, all of a sudden, these little things start to creep in. And I know that other teams have injuries, they have things that happen, but it just seems like that we talk about the black cloud or the curse over the Cardinals. And here's a team that has been holding guys back. They've been practicing hard. We'll give them that. But they've been holding them back from playing in any kind of games to make sure they're completely healthy before the start of the season going into Buffalo. And Jack, you talked about the first 5 games. How about the first 10 games this team plays? The Commanders might be the only little sisters of the poor they play. But
they're looking at Arizona saying, hey, that's
exactly
for us.
Exactly. So you just go, okay, you're being very cautious. You're not playing guys. And then you have a guy tweak a calf at practice. You have a guy get suspended. And my contention was, you mentioned this earlier, why wasn't this taken care of earlier? Did the NFL and the teams have to do their total investigation in order to make sure they came through with the suspension? And if they did, I'm glad they did. I'm glad they didn't react, do a knee-jerk reaction, the old thing of guilty until proven innocent. I'm glad they did, but it just seems like this kind of falls on the Cardinals for whatever reason. There's just like something, the karma.
We say this all the time. There's a black cloud over
there's got to be
State Farm Stadium.
Yeah, in Zay Jones,
it's Glendale.
No.
Hear me out on this. When the Coyotes played there, there was a black cloud over that organization. The Cardinals, it's been a black cloud over that organization, with the exception of 1 year.
Yeah, I would say that. They got to a few playoffs while they're out there. Bruce Arians, and you had the Super Bowl year.
Okay.
But yeah, it's you just Zay Jones was going to be a big part of your passing game.
I would hope so.
I mean, he'd be a big part. But then again, it's early, and hopefully nothing else happens.
Well,
but
when you keep hearing all this negativity, it's hard not to think about this team saying, okay, all right, maybe I had them down at 8 wins this year. Man, maybe I need to drop it down to 7, maybe 6.
Well, we talked about if they're going to win 8-9 games, hopefully, or whatever, they got to have all hands on deck. Everybody's got to stay healthy. Everybody's got the depth is the key to backfill when you have the kind of schedule you have the first 10 games of the season.
They have, I think, somewhere around $33 million under the cap.
Yes,
they have money to make some moves right now.
They do.
So this front office, I'm sure, is working the phones, and they're going to do what they need to do, because what's going to happen after this weekend, there's going to be a lot of players that are going to be available that are going to cut on other teams. So I think maybe we can just pump the brakes today, and then maybe we can have this discussion, after middle of next week and see who they pick up.
But
then maybe there's some hope.
You just hate to see Darius Robinson out for any length of time when this kid is a very promising defensive run guy, and then have your top backup receiver, Chris Moore, out for a period of time.
So I want to throw something that's just kind of more like a random fact of the day, but it's been kind of bugging me, and I want to just get it out for a couple minutes before we talk some baseball. What do you consider when because you all right, Manuch does this quarterback, what do you call your clipboard report?
Clipboard report, yeah.
And there's really no criteria for him to pick a quarterback to be that.
It's in my mind. It's all right there.
To be that player of the week.
It's in my noggin.
Normally it's off of stats. You win a game and you get on this clipboard report on Tuesdays, right?
Not all about stats.
What is it when it comes down to getting in the Hall of Fame and being a quarterback? I mean, should you have a Super Bowl ring? Would that be?
I don't think
nice?
I think it's required.
Would you have to have pretty good stats?
I think really good stats for a long period of time. I think being with the team for a long period of time, getting your team to the playoffs for a long period of time.
What if you say threw, I don't know, 50 more interceptions than touchdowns?
Well, you got to remember.
Just answer that.
50 more interceptions and touchdowns?
Okay, as a quarterback.
I don't know how, but you'd probably be fairly successful. You could, if your championships
What if you lost more games than you won?
If you won a few championships and you've had some other numbers get there, you could possibly be there.
On the surface, that would be pretty tough.
Yeah, it'd be tough.
Yeah.
It would be, I think overall it'd be tough.
Because your favorite quarterback of all time,
Tom Brady,
lost more games than he won and threw a lot more interceptions than touchdowns. And I'm talking about Joe
Willie Namath. Sure, yeah.
He only won 62 games in his career, and he lost 63. He had 173 touchdowns and 220 interceptions.
Yes, he did.
And, just because of one performance in Super Bowl III, he gets in there?
Well,
undefeated in the Super Bowl, please.
Yeah, he's 1-0.
Undefeated in the Super Bowl. You New Yorkers, you Joe Namath lovers, come on.
And it was the flair. Here's the thing, that what Joe Willie Namath did also was the intangibles.
Oh,
he brought the AFL to the forefront, first AFL team to beat an NFL team in a Super Bowl, Rock.
The New York Jets have never lost a Super Bowl.
Yeah. So you got to anoint Joe Namath.
I will say
because
this,
he was
Rock.
a quarterback at the time.
To
But
your-
come on.
To your point.
And I set you up on that
Yeah,
on purpose.
Sure.
Because I know how much you love Joe Namath.
Joe, just something. I think.
Well, I remember when we had him on our show, I didn't get a one word in. I'm like, Manuch just took it.
And just real quick, I think a lot of that was a lot of the intangibles he did for the AFL and the NFL to merge. I think
that
there
is
was more
a
to
hell
it.
of a random fact of the day. If you're having a conversation at the bar or whatever, or with your kids, name a quarterback that threw more interceptions than touchdowns, lost more games than he won, and only won one Super Bowl, and he's in the Hall of Fame.
Is flair part of the criteria? It's got to be. It's got to
Then
be.
put T.O. in and all these other
Real
guys.
quick. Real quick, this is funny. We had this conversation in the office yesterday. Our lovely program director of the station came in yesterday, and we were randomly talking about George Blanda. For whatever reason, George
Okay.
Blanda came up.
Okay.
He has more interceptions than he does touchdowns, and he's in the Hall of Fame.
But what about games won and lost?
I don't know. There's a lot of losing on this
Well,
list here. There's a lot of it.
Okay.
Was he? Did he go in as a kicker, George Blanda?
53-50-1 as a quarterback was his record.
Okay,
just
so he
a
was over
little bit
500.
a little bit above 500.
Yeah.
But he's in the Hall of Fame with 236 touchdowns and 277 interceptions, including a year, gentlemen, in which he threw 42 interceptions and was a Pro Bowler.
Was that with Houston or was that with the Raiders?
That was with Houston in 1962.
Yeah, when the league first started out. Yeah, he was. And he was a
But
kicker.
there was
his
no
last
TV. Nobody could see it.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
But to my point, it's a hell of a random fact.
It is very good.
Because when I saw that today, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
my dude.
Yeah, Joe Willie.
All right, we're going to shift gears, talk some baseball. D-backs are getting ready to take on the Boston Red Sox. One of our very good buddies, John Sapichetti, will join us from Boston next. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B from Right Toyota.
Clear.
This is what's trending on Fox Sports 910 Phoenix.
5-game suspension for Cardinals wideout Zay Jones for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy. He was arrested on domestic battery charges last year. Those charges were dropped in March. The Cardinals take on the Broncos Sunday to finish the preseason. Rookie defensive lineman Darius Robinson undergoing imaging on a calf injury he suffered yesterday. We have preseason action tomorrow on Fox Sports 910. The Chargers meet the Cowboys. Our coverage starts at 12:30. It's a weekend in New England for the Diamondbacks as they meet the Red Sox today. The Mercury play the Dream in Atlanta again. I'm Frank Garrity on Fox Sports 910. Available everywhere on the free iHeartRadio app.
Hey, sports fans, celebrate every big game with El Bandito Yankee, an ultra-premium tequila made from 100% Blue Weber agave in the highlands of Jalisco. Their certified additive-free Blanco and Reposado feature a unique oxygenation process for a rich smoothness without that tequila burn. That's why they won platinum and gold medals and are now listed as one of the world's top tequilas by Rolling Stone. Head over to your local store, favorite bar, or restaurant and enjoy. Go to elbanditoyankee.com and break out the Bandito with the official tequila of game day.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. Have you been charged with a crime you didn't commit? It happens more than you think. When your liberty is on the line, you need an experienced attorney that will aggressively fight for you. Lerner & Rowe Law Group handles DUI and all criminal charges. And with our affordable payment plans, it's easier than you think to get the defense you need. If the police made a mistake, call Lerner & Rowe today. We're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to take your call.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Sun Devil football is back. Don't miss a minute of the action when Sun Devil football returns to Mountain America Stadium as a member of the Big 12 Conference to take on the Wyoming Cowboys Saturday, August 31st at 7:30 p.m.
Scattaboo with the catch, has the first down, stays on his feet, and he's going to go. Touchdown, Devils!
Get your ASU Wyoming tickets today by calling 480-727-0000 or go online to sundeviltickets.com.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Sarah Spain with iHeart Women's Sports, presented by Capital One.
Athletes Unlimited Pro Softball is entering the last weekend of the season. The league is composed of teams drafted by captains each week and uses a special scoring system that awards points for individual and team performance. Outfielder Amanda Lawrence has the most points heading into the final weekend, sitting 230 points ahead of pitcher Georgina Korick and 236 points ahead of pitcher Alicia Ocasio. For more women's sports stories, subscribe to Good Game with Sarah Spain on iHeart Podcast.
John's good.
With the Venture Card from Capital One, you earn unlimited 2x miles on every purchase. Plus, earn unlimited 5x miles on hotels and rental cars booked through Capital One Travel. Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
As a high fly ball right field, way up there. That's headed out. That baby's gone into the second.
You're hot.
David Ham.
All right, time to talk some baseball. D-backs are going to try to keep this 3-game road win streak going as they visit the Boston Red Sox, who are back home after they're coming off a 4-3 road trip, and they are playing some much better baseball than they did earlier this season. And joining us to talk some Boston Red Sox baseball is John Sapichetti. How you doing, John? What's going on, my friend?
John, how are you?
Good afternoon. You've interrupted me from attending St. Anthony's Feast this weekend, but that's okay. I always love talking to you guys.
Hey, I mean, we talked a few months ago, and it was more football, but we did talk a little bit about the Red Sox, and they were kind of struggling a little bit. But how's the fan base been now that this team is kind of rolling along and only 7 games out of?
Well, they're 3.5 behind Kansas City for the last wild card spot, so that's still reachable at this point.
Yeah.
But there hasn't been much excitement in the city for the Red Sox because you're coming off an NBA championship for the Celtics, and then training camp starts for the Patriots shortly thereafter, and you've got this quarterback situation with Drake May and Jacoby Brissett. So that's pretty much dominated talk radio. And quite frankly, since winning their last World Series in 2018, the Red Sox have been a 500 team. They've made the playoffs once. They finished last 3 times in the last 5 years. So they've been less than mediocre over the last 5 years, and I think the fan base is quite upset with ownership, which seems to be absentee at this point and more concerned with the Pittsburgh Penguins or Liverpool FC or whatever other business interests they have. So I would say excitement is kind of muted at this point among Red Sox fans.
I was just going to say, John, it's kind of quiet. I mean, the Red Sox are usually in the mix. And why have they been down the last several years? I think you alluded to ownership maybe asleep at the wheel, but now this team has won 6 out of the last 10. You got 2 weeks before the Patriots open up their season. Will this start to generate a little more interest with the not so much the Diamondbacks coming in, but now that they have a chance of making the wild card?
I don't think so, guys, until maybe later in September, if they're within striking distance of the Royals or the Twins, and they're technically still within striking distance. But if you get to late September and it's a situation where they win, they get in, I think there'll be some excitement for that. And then there'll be, the wild card round after that, the best of 3, which they would be on the road for those 3 games because they'd be the last wild card. There might be some excitement for that because, quite frankly, by then the Patriots might be 0-4. And, the lead story in Boston might be who's buying the Celtics because, right now the Red Sox and Patriots are definitely in a downtrend over the last 5 years.
Well, you look at this lineup and, you look at Duran and a few others, but it's kind of kind of like the good old no-name Dolphins defense many, many years ago. There's not a lot of recognizable guys on here.
You're right about that.
Yeah, that's what happens when you trade Mookie Betts for pretty much nothing and you don't re-sign the Bogarts. You don't want to spend any money on those guys. The Bogarts part of it, I understand that was a bit exorbitant, that contract that he signed with San Diego, but you don't trade the best player that you've had over the last 50 years for, 25 cents on the dollar. And that's essentially what they did with Mookie Betts. But, the offense at times has been really, really consistent and steady. And then at times, it falls asleep. And a lot of that depends on how hot Rafael Devers is. He's their most fearsome hitter. And now you got Kristen Casas back a little bit. So that gives them some extra power that they can rely on. And Duran has been a marvel this year. So they've been able to cobble together a decent offense the last couple of months. And the starting rotation has been up and down as well. So kind of fits the profile of a team that's just outside the wild card looking in. And I still think that one of the big advantages they have over a lot of teams is well, now how much impact can a manager have on a baseball team? That's more necessarily happens more maybe outside the lines, how they run the clubhouse, how they handle pitching staff. But I think Alex Cora is one of the best and has gotten most out of this team this year.
They've been pretty banged up, haven't they? That was somewhat of the narrative early on, right? They were just getting beat up.
Exactly. Casas has been out for most of the year. The pitching staff, they've had guys on and off the disabled list. They've used a bunch of starters. So they have been banged up quite a bit. And, he's kind of kept them afloat. I just think he's a good motivator, a good in-game strategist. And I think the players believe in him. And thus, the Red Sox gave him a nice contract extension, making him the second highest paid manager in baseball. And I think deservedly so.
John Sepichetti joining us. You can follow him at Full Press Radio, at Full Press NBA. John Sapp 25 on X and Twitter. All right, enough of the Red Sox. Who's the starting quarterback for the New England Patriots?
I think it's going to be Jacoby Brissett, but I think it could be 3 or 4 games. If they're 0-3, 0-4, and ownership is getting a bit antsy, you may see Drake May come in. I mean, Drake May's 21 years old. You guys know more about quarterbacking than I do. He's very raw and needs to work on some of his fundamentals before he's really ready to play in the NFL. And I think, the fan base would like to see him because you want to know if you have a quarterback going forward. Now, I don't know if you could determine that in 1 year, but I'm sure the fan base would like to see Drake May. We know what Jacoby Brissett is, 18-30 as a starter in the NFL, kind of a low-end starter, high-end backup, kind of like Chase Daniels was for all those years. And those guys make a lot of money, and God bless them. But I don't think you're going to go forward with Jacoby Brissett as your quarterback for the future. But maybe the first 3 or 4 weks, if it's off to a slow start, and the fan base is getting antsy and ownership is getting antsy, and but people aren't showing up to home games like they did last year, then ownership may step in and say, let's put this kid in and see what we got.
What does Gerard Mayo as the head coach liked about Drake May that hinted that he could be in there sooner rather than later?
I think he's talked about, especially the last week, that he's really growing. Like, he's had probably 2 straight weeks of good play at camp and in the last preseason game. So you see that growth, especially with a quarterback who is that raw, that young. You want to see continued growth. Jacoby Brissett is what he is. He's in his 9th season. You know what you're going to get with him for the most part. With Drake May, there's a lot of unpredictability, but there's a lot of talent there. So I think when you see that he's been improving practice after practice after practice, and you'll see him for a quarter on Sunday night against the Commanders, we'll see what he can offer there, that they'll feel good about putting him in at some point during the season. Still not thrilled with their offensive line. They really don't have any playmakers on offense. Guys, they have the worst offense in football. And I think, if we talk again in January, that would be borne out with them scoring the fewest points. Their defense is okay, but their offense is just, they don't have any game breakers. I mean, if you're a defensive coordinator and you wake up on Monday morning and you're playing the Patriots on Sunday, you don't really have to worry about game planning for any one player. In the past, obviously, it was Brady, Gronkowski, Edelman, a really strong offensive line. They don't have anything close to that right now. They may average 10, 12, 13 points per game, and that's not going to win a lot of games.
John, how noticeable has it been with Coach Mayo being the head coach after so many years of Belichick and running the press conferences and things of that sort? Because we haven't seen Mayo yet. I'm sure we will, press clippings and things of that sort. But all we know is what was there for so many years.
Sure, it's completely different. There was one voice coming out of Foxborough all those years, and it was Bill Belichick. The assistant coaches barely spoke, and when they spoke, they just basically echoed whatever Belichick said. There were a few times that ownership got involved, trading Jimmy Garoppolo, not trading Rob Gronkowski. For the most part, for 24 years, Bill Belichick ran the football side of the New England Patriots. Now it's a more collaborative effort. You've got Elliott Wolf as the general manager. You've got Gerard Mayo as the head coach. Now, Mayo was in place before Elliott Wolf was. That's not normally how it's done in the NFL. And then you brought in Alex Van Pelt as your offensive coordinator. He was like the 11th choice. No one wanted the job. So, now you've got this committee that's going to meet, and according to Gerard Mayo, decide who the starting quarterback is. It's going to be Elliott Wolf, the general manager, which I think is kind of odd. Usually the head coach should decide who the quarterback is, but you've got Elliott Wolf as general manager, Gerard Mayo as head coach, Alex Van Pelt as the offensive coordinator, and a slew of other offensive coaches. I mean, it's going to be like the Supreme Court. 9 people are going to sit at a table and decide who the starting quarterback of the New England Patriots will be in 2024, and that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. You have a head coach to do that. That's part of their job. It's being done completely differently since Bill Belichick left, and the Krafts were even quoted as saying, we have our football team back, because they never felt like they were really running it. It was Bill Belichick's team, and don't be surprised if ownership has a say in who the quarterback's going to be. They do sign the checks, so they may want to see Drake May sooner rather than later to create some excitement among the fan base.
You know, John, it's rare I'm home on a Thursday night, but I was home last Thursday night against Philadelphia Rocs Eagles, and I watched that game and saw, when you watch Drake May, but at least Gerard Mayo was answering questions at halftime and after the game. Was like so refreshing, as Rock alluded to. That I forget who the female reporter was, but he was very honest. He said, "We got this," and I was like, "Wow." I mean, what a change. So for fans, that's got to be a little bit of a change to have some, some persona at that head coaching spot and some, I would say, some visibility to the team.
Yeah, accountability, absolutely. I mean, Belichick's press conferences were as painful as passing kidney stones. I mean,
big time.
It was. I mean, fortunately, I never had to go down there. I did cover the team. In the 80s, Ray Berry was a quirky character. Ron Meyer was a kind of a used car salesman type head coach. But, Bill Belichick had to be one of the most difficult people to cover because there's a way to not answer a question. I mean, we see that with politicians all the time. You see that with head coaches all the time. They say a lot and don't give you much. But Belichick was confrontational, and I always felt like, if you don't want to do this, go coach high school lacrosse. They're not going to pay you $25 million to coach high school lacrosse. A big part of what a head coach of the NFL has to do is meet with the press, 4 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, after games. Just make it a little less painful for the people covering you. But while he was winning, people put up with it. Well, since Tom Brady left town, 29-39, he's out of a job. And now we've got a younger, more energetic Gerard Mayo, who, at his opening press conference, I thought he was running for the U.S. Senate. He was just so senatorial the way he kind of carries himself. It's an easy guy to root for. He played here. He's an excellent player. He's coached here. And now he's head coach. But, still a lot of questions have to be answered because he's a new head coach.
And John, what's so amazing though is Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. You guys saw him, you see him up and close and personal for so many years, but now that they're doing other jobs, Brady is so outspoken right now. He's got so much energy when he's doing his interviews, and you're seeing the same thing with Belichick too. And I know there's so much anticipation on how Brady's and Belichick are going to do in the booth.
1 minute.
Are you excited to see that at all, or do you think it's just going to be the same as you've seen for so many years?
No, I think Brady's going to be okay. I think he's going to do a good job as an analyst. Look, the knowledge is there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Guy's seen everything. His memory is sharp. I mean, he's a brilliant football mind. And I think, again, he's at the point in his life, he has plenty of money. He's a single man. He can pretty much do or say whatever he wants to do. He's also going to be paid $37.5 million a year to do this job, which is more than he ever made as a quarterback, which is kind of interesting. As far as Belichick, I think you have to take him in doses, and I think he can be really good at it in small doses. I can't see him carrying. I mean, could you picture doing a radio show with Bill Belichick for 3 hours?
No.
I would love it, John. I would love it.
But you're as a former player.
Good luck.
But not
Good luck.
me.
Good luck. No, it would be, like my favorite coach that the Patriots ever had, and really my favorite coach other than Vince Lombardi, was Bill Parcells. Now, Parcells, he was a guy who was confrontational with the media, but he did it in a playful way.
Yeah.
And he would still be, a human being about it. But I think Belichick, you got to kind of take him in doses and, kind of find that niche for him. I think Brady's going to be fine. And Brady almost feels like the old man now who has no filter, which is actually what you want.
That's a great analogy. That's outstanding.
Criticize, he's recently divorced. He's like, I don't care what I say.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit around in my underwear on my recliner and do whatever I want. So, he's at that stage in his life where he doesn't really have to answer to anyone. He's independently wealthy. And, I think he'll do a good job because there's a void right now with really good analysts. I mean, I think Romo is just gone completely off the wall. I mean, he just is. I don't know what he's doing there. Aikman's outstanding.
Yeah.
Collinsworth, I think, is okay, but he's got some other business interest that makes it interesting. But yeah, I think Brady's going to surprise us and be good at this.
John, we always enjoy having you on, man. Thanks for the time. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
Anytime, fellas.
Appreciate it. John Sapichetti. He does a lot of basketball as well. He's got his own podcast with Jet and Sap. But best bet is just to check him out on Twitter X at JohnSap25. You can check out everything he's doing. He's brought to you today by All City Towing. Join the team at the largest towing company in the state. They're hiring all types of different positions. And if you're ready to take your career to the next level, then visit them online at allcitytowing.com. That's allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is on the move. Well, our Football 50 Sports Illustrated, predicts their Super Bowl 59 champion. Do you agree? And it's a soft launch for college football starting tomorrow morning. We'll get into that next. It's Roc and Manuch on Fox Sports 910.
When you're clear, our 2024 iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One. September 20th and 21st.
T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas.
Streaming live only on Hulu.
Keep listening for your next chance to be there.
Sponsored by Redbird Farms Chicken. Turn up the flavor with Redbird Farms Chicken. Available at your local grocer. Our chicken is juicy, tender, and delicious. Just like the iHeartRadio Music Festival, our chicken hits all the right notes and brings people together. Redbird Farms Chicken. What real chicken tastes like.
Whether you're looking for a bay window awning over a breakfast nook, a shade sail or structure in your home or business, a retractable awning for your patio, or roll curtains for your screen room, the House of Canvas and Fine Wrought Iron has what you need. Beat the heat this summer and get covered by Arizona's #1 rated shade experts. Visit thehouseofcanvas.com. House of Canvas, family owned and making shady deals in the Valley for over 40 years. That's thehouseofcanvas.com.
Kick off the football season with Twin Peaks, Roc, Manuch, Jimmy B, and Fox Sports 910 for our fantastic tailgating sweepstakes. Text PEAKS to 59925 for your chance to win a Traeger grill, Blackstone griddle, and more. No purchase necessary. Details at rocandmanuch.com.
Have you been arrested for something you didn't do? When your liberty is on the line, you need an aggressive, experienced attorney to defend your rights. Lerner Rowe Law Group is the firm you can trust with your freedom. Our criminal defense attorneys have represented thousands of clients across the state. And with our affordable payment plans, you can get the defense you need immediately. If you've been wrongly charged with a crime, time is not on your side. Call Lerner Rowe today for a free consultation. We're available to help you 24/7.
Lerner Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
What's up, guys? Jason Payne, owner of State 48 Roofing. Monsoon season is upon us. Be proactive today. Go to state48roofing.com. Scan the QR code below. We want to take care of you. Be proactive. Get your maintenance done. We are home of the hashtag sexy roof status.
In the fast lane of life, your fuel should keep up. Time to check out G2G protein bars, your ultimate grab-and-go meal replacement. Whether it's a workday, gym session, or navigating daily chaos, G2G has got you covered. Find them now at your local Costco in the refrigerated section, or explore all 8 fantastic flavors at G2GBar.com. Great tasting and packed with protein. So keep pace with life in the fast lane with G2G protein bars.
I'm Tiffany, founder of Harlem Pilates. When I couldn't find Pilates in my neighborhood, I started a studio from my studio apartment. Chase Inc. helped me grow from 1 Pilates studio to 3. Because when you start small, you're going to need some big help.
With the Chase Inc. Business Cash Card, you can earn up to 5% cash back on business essentials, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for business. Make more with yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Guess what, people? Wendy's has new saucy nugs. You heard me. Wendy's nugs now come in 7 saucy flavors. Buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, spicy ghost pepper. You can literally hear your taste buds after every bite. I'm serious. Listen to mine. Okay, that's just me playing with sound effects, but you got the idea. For a whole new way to nug, gotta be Wendy's.
Participating U.S. Wendy's.
Now back to the Roc and Manuch Show, live from Wright Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the selection, and always right on the price. Wright Toyota, 77th Street and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale, and online at wrighttoyota.com.
Let's get ready for football!
It's Football at 50, the latest top football story trending this hour. Right here with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on Fox Sports 910 and the Large Radio app.
All right, Sports Illustrated is predicting the blank will win Super Bowl 59.
I'm going to say the Kansas City Chiefs.
All right.
I'll go Ravens.
All right. Shu, you want to play?
The San Francisco 49ers.
Nope. The Detroit Lions.
Wow.
Yes. Even though the Lions have not played for an NFL title game since 1957 when they beat the Browns. So their expectations are high. They had a hell of a run last year, if you remember.
Sure did.
Got to San Francisco, right? And so they put them on the cover. So it says Resurgent Lions, right team, right town, right time. And it's got a bunch of guys on the cover.
Well, if it's not for a couple of drop passes on fourth down, they might have won that 49er game. But Brock Purdy and the gang led that charge in the second half to come back with a couple of fourth down calls, a couple of drop passes. They might have won that game and gone to the Super Bowl against the Chiefs last year.
So the final week of the NFL preseason kicked off last night. You had a couple matchups as the Bears. How about them? All right, pipe down, Bears fans. So I was with a lot of Bears fans last night, and they're just betting Super Bowl. I mean, I made a bet for $500 on, the Bears are going to win the Super Bowl. I took that bet, and I get it. It's been a long time. What, 80? When were they relevant?
Yeah, 85, 86 Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They blew out the Patriots.
But they took care of the defending champion Kansas City Chiefs last night, 34-21. In other action, you saw Anthony Richardson lead the Colts to a win over the Bengals, 27-14. I'm anxious to see him play. We didn't get to see him last year. Of course, he was hurt. Second year. He had 86 yards last night, a touchdown and an interception. We got 3 games tonight. Falcons will host the Jags. Dolphins will be playing the Bucks and the Raiders. Got the 49ers. Then there are 8 games Saturday and 3 more on Sunday with the Cardinals and the Broncos. They'll kick off at 1:30 on Sunday. And then the night game, we get to watch the Commanders and Patriots, 2 bad teams on Sunday Night Football.
You watch Anthony Richardson, and he's a starter, and they're going, he needs the reps. So he's starting, he's playing. Russell Wilson's going to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now that they're out with their starting center who got hurt, you have a rookie center in there. I think it's good. But there are some teams that believe in, hey, if a guy was injured like Richardson last year, needs to get some reps, knock the rust off, I commend him for that. Same with Russell Wilson. Had the calf injury for 2.5, 3 weeks. He wants to play, so they're going to get him out there to play a little bit. So the different philosophies for a lot of these coaches, and if you're a veteran that needs to come back, even if you're a young guy that's had that injury, to come and get some kind of reps. So that's why I think it's not that they are now, but I think it was very important that Kyler Murray was to get some reps, at least the first couple preseason games, but not now. And that looks like Clayton Tune will start. But I commend some of these coaches for playing the guys coming off of injuries at quarterback and some of their veterans who want to play to make sure they're ready in 2 weeks.
Week 0 college football season is here. 4 games featuring FBS teams are going to be going on tomorrow. It all start with Florida State ranked number 10. They take on Georgia Tech in Dublin. Game day will start at 6 a.m. with that game kicking off at 9. 3 other games. New Mexico are hosting Montana State. Nevada will host SMU, and Hawaii hosting Delaware State. Some really big lines in those games, like 39 in the Hawaii game. So we'll talk about those a little bit later with Scott Spreitzer, who is going to join us at about 2:30. So he is our handicapper. Right out of the gate, we are going to continue talking college football as the Verbo Fiesta Bowl CEO and president, Eric Moses, will join us right out of the gate as they're coming off their kickoff luncheon with Larry Fitzgerald. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then we'll dive into some other hot topics in college football with him. And then a little bit later, a fantasy football punishment for the ages. It's all coming up in hour number 2. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910.
Clear. Okay.
Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B has been sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing.
Join the team at the largest towing company in the state, All City Towing. We're hiring dispatchers, call takers, lot attendants, drivers, and customer service personnel. Enjoy benefits like the state's most advanced towing equipment, set work schedules, a healthy 401k, employer match, health benefits, employer-paid life insurance, and a monthly fuel allowance. Ready to take your career to the next level? Visit us at allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is on the move.
Kick off football season with Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B, Twin Peaks, Blue Moon, and Coors Light for a season-long fantastic tailgating giveaway. Text PEAKS to 59925 every day for your chance to win the amazing grand prize. A Traeger grill, Blackstone griddle, pizza oven, cornhole set, portable beer pong table, an outdoor projector, inflatable screen, cases of Cocoa 5, a cooler, and Wild Gear tumblers. No purchase necessary. Just text PEAKS to 59925. Standard message and data rates apply. Make this football season unforgettable with Twin Peaks, Blue Moon, and Coors Light.
Don't miss our 2024 iHeartRadio Music Festival presented by Capital One.
Las Vegas, and you're having a good time.
Friday and Saturday, September 20th and 21st. Streaming live only on Hulu.
iHeartRadio, let's go!
Get tickets now at AXS.com.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Been hungry for some college football? Well, we finally get a taste this weekend. Don't miss any of the action. Jump in at DraftKings Sportsbook. It's a small but mighty slate of games for week 0, including a big matchup in Ireland. This is going to be DraftKings' biggest college football season to date. Enjoy the ride now all the way through the expanded playoffs. Plus, all newbies getting into the college spirit, here's something extra special. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Score big with DraftKings all college football season long. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code 910. That's code 910 for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. 21 plus, Arizona only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit and eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at dkng.co/ftball.
Overspending on Amazon? Earn while you shop with Drop. Earn rewards on every purchase online or in-store. Download Drop now and use code DROP11 to get $5 in points. Get rewarded for shopping today.
Joe Brown here with Accident Law Group. If you were hurt in an accident, find us on the web at accidentlawgroup.com.
Broadcasting from the Raffi Law Group Studios. This is KGME Phoenix, KESC HD3 Phoenix. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app for all your sports talk, podcasts, and music. Free never sounded so good.
NFL concludes preseason football action this weekend. The Cardinals play the Broncos in Denver on Sunday. It'll be the Chargers in Dallas tomorrow playing the Cowboys. We'll have all the action for that game here on Fox Sports 910 starting at 12:30. Meanwhile, Cardinals receiver Zay Jones has been suspended 5 games for violating the league's personal conduct policy. He was arrested last November and charged with domestic battery. Those charges were dropped in March. The Diamondbacks are at Fenway Park for a weekend series against the Red Sox starting today. Ryan Nelson on the mound. The Mercury take on the Dream in Atlanta. I'm Frank Garrity on Fox Sports 910, available everywhere on the free iHeartRadio app.
This is the Parker & Sons Weather Center. For all your AC, plumbing, and electric needs, call Parker.
For your Friday, look for mostly sunny skies. We could see some breezier conditions towards the afternoon with the daytime high right around 106. For tonight, mostly clear, but we'll still see those breezy conditions with the low right around 82. For the Fox 10 Weather Experts, I'm Ty Brennan.
This report
Troy
is
also just announced
by
that Jordan
Bank of
Montgomery is going
America.
to the
Bank
bullpen,
of
so Nelson's
America
getting the
has
spot.
powerful digital solutions for local and global businesses, so you can make every move matter. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America N.A. Copyright 2024.
I didn't wonder
Roc
about it.
and
Ryan
Manuch
Nelson been the
with
better
Jimmy
pitcher.
B is sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing. Time for our weekly visit with the Executive Director and CEO of the Verbo Fiesta Bowl and Guaranteed Rate Bowl, Eric Moses. This is our opportunity to talk high-level college football and check on the bowl selection process. Eric Moses, now on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
All right, college football is here, week 0. Eric Moses now the right to the guest line. Eric, now that you're a bigwig bowl guy, you run bowls,
big dog, man.
Can you get a word in to whoever needs to hear this? Can we just make this week 1? Why does it need to be week 0? Makes no sense. And now the high school kids are doing it too. Why is that?
Yeah, I got a week 0 game tonight myself, Eric.
It's weird, especially since there are 4 games going on this Saturday. I mean, it's kind of it's interesting, but football is here, and we should all be excited.
So we work on that for us for next year. All these
Yes,
meetings you
I'll
go
get
to.
right on that, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, put that on your 500th to-do list
now
there.
Now this is where I do my little brown nosing real quick. Let me get out of the way.
Go
now.
ahead. Go ahead.
All right. So I've been on the Fiesta Bowl committee for over 25 years. I've had a yellow jacket. I've had multiple ones. And we always start our season off with a kickoff luncheon. And we just had one last week with Larry Fitzgerald. Eric was ahead of it. It was by far the best event we have ever put on, in my opinion. And we've had good ones. Manuch and I have hosted them with Tom Osborne and Stoops and all these different guys, Jake Plummer. But that was awesome. And how Larry, we all got to see a different side of Larry I think none of us have ever seen before. But just the kids, the high school kids, the gals, everybody was amazing. Eric, I just wanted – I already told you that, but I wanted to go public with
you
that.
knocked it out the park, Eric. Good job.
Well, I really appreciate that, guys. Our team did a fantastic job in working with the folks at the Fairmont Scottsdale Princess, who are fantastic at big events. It felt good, sold out event, 1,100 people, 40 preseason all-state football players, boys tackle, girls flag, and the one and only Larry Fitzgerald. It couldn't have gone better. I'm so pleased with doing it. And Rock, as you know, we talked about a little bit, moving from the Biltmore out to the Princess. I had a little bit of concern whether or not people would make their way out there, but we have to give them the reason to come, and they came, and we'll look to take it to the next level again next year, man. But thank you so much for your support. It was a fantastic afternoon.
And I got to tell you what, Eric, for a lot of the high school kids, I'm very familiar with a lot of them, like Caitlin Jewell, who is your top quarterback, and I've had a chance to train her for a couple of years. That was, for her biggest thing was asking Larry Fitzgerald questions and him answering and having her talk. I mean, that's like a life-changing experience for these young athletes, the guys and the gals. Her and her parents, they were like, wow. I mean, could be a life-changing experience for them when they get older to give back as well.
Yeah, they sent me a really nice message about that opportunity. And look, part of that has to do with how fantastic a person Larry is. I mean, he spent time with all of the kids before the program started, talking to them and answering their questions. You guys know that it was really important to us that we start to connect better with the high school players and that football community and make certain that we're highlighting what they're doing. And this is just the start of it. Last night we kicked off a second year of Friday Night Showdown out at San Carlos and saw the Braves beat the Anthem South Titans 24-12. And from what I'm told, the entire town in San Carlos turned out. The stands were packed. There was so much energy and excitement. Our football engagement manager told me literally at the end of the game, people were crying. They were so excited and so happy that we came out and highlighted that community, especially after what they went through with that watch fire this year. So we're rolling, man. We're going to connect with football people everywhere we can and continue to highlight these kids and what they're doing.
Well, we got Benson coming up there from just southeast of Tucson, taking on Shadow Mountain. That's our 0 game as far as broadcasting tonight.
Makes no sense.
I know, but I mean, but the buzz, I will say this, Eric, the buzz with the Verbo Fiesta Bowl and the AIA is these kids, these coaches are excited that there's that tie-in, because it's like, hey, here we are, and you put them on the map with all the things that you've got going on in reference to the high school and tying that to the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah, it seemed obvious to me that we do that. These are the fans and the families that we need to rely on to support us when the Guaranteed Rate Bowl gets started on December 26th and when the Verbo Fiesta Bowl is there, and not just this year but every year. And I really want those families and the kids in particular who are interested in football, who are playing and following it, to feel like these games belong to them and that they grew up in a place where they had the luxury of seeing 2 very high-level postseason college games in their backyard year over year, and they could create the memories that go along with attending events like that.
Eric Moses joining us here, Fox Sports 910. Let's talk what you guys are doing this year, I believe, number 2, in regards to the Friday Night Showdown. Kind of explain what that's all about and why the Bulls got involved in this.
Yeah, well, it goes back to what I was just saying. I mean, we want to make certain that we are engaging with football players, coaches, families, fans, are at every level and supporting them and bringing more attention to what our young people are doing on the field. And this year, I'm really happy to announce that not only do we have 12 games that we're including in our Fiesta Bowl Friday Night Showdown schedule, the first of which was last night, but we've got 3 Fiesta Bowl flag football showdown games so that we can make certain that we're highlighting the ladies even more. And so we're rolling, man. It's going really well, and the kids are excited about being there. We gave our big belt, to the player of the game last night, and the kids love that. So we're going to continue to connect and continue to support these young people.
When it comes to the grant funding, what is the window right now for those that, because I'm sure there's a lot of people listening that would love to be able to be part of that grant process. Do you know when that is off the top of your head?
I know that it just closed, and we just announced winners or grantees within the last couple weeks. So they'll have to wait for a while before that window opens up again. And look, I will say, and I get the emails, as you guys can imagine, folks who are disappointed that they weren't successful. We probably had 400 applications for 22 grant awards, and they're all worthy of support. And I wish we could support every single program and nonprofit that files an application. But we're doing the best we can with the resources we have, which is why, last week when we had the football kickoff event, we did that paddle raise and we did a silent auction because we want the community to know that they can support us directly. Yes, buy tickets to the games. Yes, buy foursomes to our Part 3 challenge. Yes, buy tables for the kickoff event. But you can also give money to us because you know that we're going to amplify those dollars, and we're going to make certain that those dollars find their way into the community to support groups that are supporting youth sports and education all across the state.
It's not going to be too long before the quarterfinal for the 12-team playoff, right around the corner there, Eric. What kind of – I imagine you guys are planning, getting all kinds of things going on. But that buzz has got to be very exciting around there at the Fiesta Bowl offices.
Yeah, I mean, I think this – and you guys know this, but I think this may be the most exciting college football season maybe ever. I mean, all of the changes, the realignment, the expansion of the playoff, there's so much buzz nationally. I literally just got back from the ASU football kickoff luncheon over at their stadium, and people are excited. I mean, everybody's ready for football to get started, and we are too. And I think this expanded playoff is going to provide for some great storylines. Hopefully, maybe a few upsets, right? So we can see some different teams making their way towards a national championship. But we are thrilled to be the first ever quarterfinal. It is fitting for an organization like this that has been pioneering for so long, and the bowl of first, that we be the very first quarterfinal. And so we're looking forward to it, and we're going to rely on this community to help us knock it out the park.
We're excited to have you back this year once again on Fridays, and we'll look forward to catching up with you every Friday at this time. And when you're on the road, kind of give us the look behind the curtain and all that good stuff. So as always, Eric, thanks for some time today, and we'll look forward to catching up with you next week.
Appreciate you guys. Keep up the good work.
You got it. Eric Mose is joining us here, the CEO and president of the Verbo, Fiesta Bowl, and Guaranteed Rate Bowl, as you mentioned, the quarterfinals, as he'll be joining us throughout the year. And, even last year, he was able to give us some insight on, how this whole playoff was coming together. And now here it is. It's finally here, and I know we're all pretty excited. We have decided to give you an opportunity to win $20,000. And it's our 12-team college football predictor game. And all you have to do is go to our website, rockandmanuch.com, and you predict all 12 CFP teams in exact order in which seeded and the winner of the CFP, and you'll win $20,000. Now, if that wasn't enough, how about you predict all 12 CFP teams in exact order in which seeded, not the winner? How about $10,000? Or predict all 12 teams and win $1,000. That is a great contest. It's brought to you by Lerner Rowe and Wright Toyota. That's where we're at today. First 1,000 people to enter at rockandmanuch.com. Don't miss your shot. Deadline is Thursday, this coming Thursday, when week 1 gets underway. So you'll really have till Wednesday night, so to speak.
Yes.
But take the time. It is time consuming to a point, or you can do it real quick, but
just go with your gut feeling. Look at the top
But
15.
when you have an opportunity for $20,000,
yes, yeah,
why wouldn't you give it a shot, right? And so, anyway, coming up, this is great. A new fantasy football punishment forces some guy to spend a brutal night in Las Vegas with only $20. And what teams are slated to travel the most this college football season? We'll have that next from Wright Toyota. It's Roc and Manuch today, Fox Sports 910.
Life's is clear, and you need a quick pick-me-up. Meet G2G Protein Bars, the ultimate grab-and-go meal replacement. Whether you're hustling in the office, enjoying a day on the links, or conquering the daily grind, G2G is your perfect fuel. Score an 8-pack at your local Costco's refrigerated section, or explore amazing flavors at G2GBar.com. Quick, delicious, and power-packed. G2G Protein Bars, setting the pace for your energetic lifestyle.
Any car dealer in Arizona can compete on price. That's what dealers do. But not many dealers can compete on customer satisfaction. Like Wright Toyota. Make the right choice. Wright Toyota in Scottsdale, just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard. And online at WrightToyota.com.
So it says here that you guys want the jelly roll thing.
Your favorite drafts report.
Do you want it directly from the link that you sent? Because that has like words over it, or do you just want the song?
It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen?
So for this song that you want here?
Every day from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks is always adding exciting cocktails to the menu, like the expertly balanced Sincoro Hall of Fame.
I have the actual song.
Your local launch today.
Tune in Thursdays at 1:30 p.m. for the Crest Insurance Group Sun Devil Report with Coach Charlie Rago. Crest Insurance. Coverage you can trust, service you can count on. Every Thursday on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on Fox Sports 910.
Hey, sports fans, celebrate every big game with El Bandito Yankee, an ultra-premium tequila made from 100% Blue Weber agave in the highlands of Jalisco. Their certified additive-free Blanco and Reposado feature a unique oxygenation process for a rich smoothness without that tequila burn. That's why they've won platinum and gold medals and are now listed as one of the world's top tequilas by Rolling Stone. Head over to your local store, favorite bar, or restaurant and enjoy. Go to elbanditoyankee.com and break out the Bandito with the official tequila of game day.
Dukes on Miller and McDowell.
Get out of the heat and play at Dukes.
Dukes on Miller and McDowell.
A huge new game room is open with foosball, pool tables, shuffleboard, darts, and Pop-A-Shot basketball.
Dukes on Miller and McDowell.
With 3 10-foot TV screens and dozens more big screens. You'll find every game you're looking for.
Dukes on Miller and McDowell.
Voted best sports bar by New Times.
Dukes on Miller and McDowell.
3 huge patios on the Greenbelt, all doggy friendly.
Where Dukes? Miller and McDowell. Scottsdale.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Diego.
Hi, Diego. It's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to say your cashback match makes me feel so special. It really inspired me.
That's great. Doubling the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year is what we do.
Well, I'm doubling everything now. Double dating, double dipping, double feature, double header, double whammy. Basically double or nothing.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Now back to the Roc and Manuch Show, live from Wright Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the selection, and always right on the price. Wright Toyota, 77th Street and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale, and online at WrightToyota.com.
You're hot.
I light every bridge I see here just to watch it burn. You seen all the hell I seen, it make your stomach turn. I think you know.
I understand why Shu always lowers
let it
Why
play.
you do that every time,
It's
Shu?
the anthem.
Pump it
it's
up.
just a song for college football, and you're just
He played like the
you
first
rather
2
have us talk
seconds.
over it. We'll start over. Should we do this again?
Do we want to have the same conversation we have every time we play music on the show?
Pump it up.
I think we should start it again.
Dude, what do you care? Honestly.
Yeah, let's pump it up, man. It's college football season. Jelly roll.
Shu's going on vacation.
I know I have an extended vacation starting next week. I take my role very seriously on the show, and I have rules that I have to follow.
Okay. All right.
Listen, I'll be honest. It's a Friday. I'd like to get out of here when the show is over. So I'm trying to make my job easier.
You know what? That knock on the door there. All right. Well, Jelly Roll is the ESPN theme song, which you heard about 3 seconds of, but you'll hear it a lot. So be ready if you haven't already, as it gets underway tomorrow. Florida State, Georgia Tech, in Ireland. Kicks off 4 games for week 0 of FBS football. But this year, fewer schools are taking part in these late August traditions, playing a week, before the rest of the nation.
Week 0, Rob?
Yeah,
you can say it.
But, I think the fact that I think fans want to have more games, and if you decide to schedule Hawaii, you get an extra game. So that's what's kind of cool. So you could play 13 games.
Yes.
And I think that's kind of neat. And I think for a lot of teams, why not? That's money. It's money in your pocket.
Well, and speaking of Hawaii, think about Delaware going to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Give them a payday. By the way, it's 5 hours.
Somebody told me last night that they missed their flight.
Delaware did?
Their initial flight.
Oh, my gosh, because it's got to be 5 hours to L.A., I imagine.
Yeah, it's a 10-hour flight total.
Yeah, 10 hours, 5 and 5. That's a long plane ride, man. Going to Hawaii?
So Boise State, UCLA, and UNLV also play Hawaii this season, but they opted against a week 0 game. There were no other special exemptions for week 0 matchups. Sometimes there are. There are 4 week 0 games, as I mentioned, that are actually scheduled for next year as well. So we'll see this next year. But Hawaii, get them on your schedule. When it comes to all the travel, all right, we've had realignment. Who are the top 3 schools when it comes to most miles to travel for the 2024 season? May not be who you think it is.
Well, I would think it might be USC and UCLA.
Okay.
And I might think that Washington might be.
Final answer? Those 3?
I'm going to say Washington.
I gave you that benefit of the doubt. You can give me 3. But if you want to give me Washington is your number 1, and then your other 2 are
USC and UCLA.
Okay. All right, Jax?
I'm going to say Cal or Stanford.
Okay, you get 3. It's Montana, man. One more.
Arizona State.
Ooh, they're on the list.
Close.
Shoot, would you like to play, or you got to worry about the music?
I would love to play. No.
All right.
Let's go UCF.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
Let's go Oregon State.
Ooh.
And let's go UConn.
That's a good one.
And I mean this in a very nice way, Shu. Enjoy your vacation.
Yeah.
Because you didn't get one. You were over.
You need a vacation.
You were over.
You saw what I was doing. I picked the corners, and I picked schools that might need to travel
all right.
for new conferences.
From the bottom, Arizona State, 4,900. To Syracuse, to SMU, to Georgia Tech. Of course, they got Dublin. Miami, Oregon, Florida State. And then the top 5, USC, number 4, Washington. Stanford is 3, Cal is 2, UCLA 11,000 miles.
That's a lot of traveling.
That is the most for any university. That's big. But then you look at the Bay Area schools, Cal and Stanford ranked 2nd and 3rd. I mean, they're playing in the ACC.
You and it's probably at the point where a lot of pro teams have those long flights. They go like 2 days ahead of time. What if the colleges will go 2 days ahead of time? You're going to UCLA, going to, let's just say you're going to Penn State. You're going to go out 2 days ahead of time. They typically go out 1 day. I would think they'd probably go out 2 days, practice, have the day before just to get acclimated to the time and just have all that travel behind them. I mean,
I just thought that was
a lot of travel.
Yeah, it really is. But Arizona State being on there as well. Now, fantasy football, many of you are having your drafts, and many of you have a loser in your draft.
Yes.
And typically there's something that person has to do the next season. Now, the best one I've ever heard is the guy that bet me that $500 for who's taking the Bears.
Yes.
His league, if you finish in last place, and I think I've mentioned this before, that you have to go to a WNBA game, you have to sit in the front row, you have to wear a jersey of the opposing team, and you're not allowed to drink.
That is classic.
It's the best.
That is, you are a loser.
So that leads me to this one. I read this about some guy who is about to suffer through what I think is potentially the longest night that anybody can have in Las Vegas. As for his punishment, he has to go to Las Vegas with no room and only $20.
Oh, man.
So people are online giving him some suggestions on what he should do. Some said, hey, you join a players club, you sign up for the promo, normally get some free play, get some free drinks, and you just ride that out.
All
it's
right.
not bad. Some said, hey, fly out there and just stay in the airport.
Sure.
Because you got these
slots, all that kind of stuff. You can stay somewhere.
You stay.
Too.
There's places to sleep in an airport.
Don't
right?
they still have slots in the Las Vegas airport? Too?
Oh yeah, big time. The one that I like, and this is the one that I would encourage him to do, is have a big sign and walk around Las Vegas with the sign saying, "This is my fantasy football punishment. Please help me. I only have $20." If I saw a fantasy football guy, and he's doing his punishment.
Sure.
Shoot, I'd give the kid $100.
Wow.
Dude, hey,
good luck.
$20, you can't get anything in Las Vegas. I saw some, there's places that you got dollar beers and things like that,
sure.
but that's a long 24 hours in Las Vegas without any money.
If you're gonna tip a lot of tips are $20. You're here, you're there.
Who tips 20? We tip $20.
If you get a guy who takes your luggage upstairs,
you give him $20.
I'll tip him $10.
Okay, well then you said 20. It's a big difference.
But okay, you tip $10 here and you tip another $10 there. You're out of money. So I think you got to get creative. You go to $20. How are you going to monopolize making any money off that $20? Those are some classic cases there. Just put the sign. But it probably costs you $20 to make the sign.
Well, yeah. Well, you get
get that little.
No, I think you could. I think you could bring the sign. I think you bring the sign.
Okay. All right.
So anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. So it's an idea. If anybody looking for an idea for your fantasy football team, there's a comedian named Etan. I think it's Etan Levine, and he just set a new Guinness World Record that has nothing to do with telling jokes, but he had this historic moment because he has broken the record for the most first pitches
at
in a year.
Really?
And all you gotta do is call the Mets, and they'll bring you on.
Bring anybody.
Yeah.
Shoo,
you missed it last week. You're
should have been there, Shoo.
Grimace and the young lady.
Yeah, Hawk Tua girl.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, this guy, he was out there on Wednesday as the Mets beat the Orioles, and they're in Citi Field Stadium, and he was wearing his number 50 blue and orange Mets jersey, and he went out there and he did his ceremonial pitch. It marked the 40th first pitch at a Major League Baseball stadium in 365 days. That's a new world record. And this guy is driving around all over the country, sleeping in airports, trying to find those hotels for $30 a night. He's sleeping in his car. It's crazy. And, he just didn't break the record. He's raising money for Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Good for him.
Which is super cool.
Good for him.
3. And pretty cool. He still has 11 more stops before the season.
We've never been invited for a first pitch. Rock, I wonder what the heck's going on out there. We'd love to do a Diamondbacks first pitch. I would love to do that. We go out there. We didn't even have a chance with the Coyotes as much as support them to drop the puck, for crying out loud.
You have fun with that, Manuch.
Oh, man. Well, didn't our good buddy CJ, who was a former producer.
Dodger. Dodger
now, was that originally for us to throw out the first pitch? And since he's a Dodger fan, we allowed him.
We took care of him. That's what we do.
Love to do a first pitch.
Hey, speaking of fantasy football, if you're looking for a place to have your draft, now through the 5th, you can do it at Twin Peaks. 5 Valley locations. Take advantage of those 29-degree drafts, the bites for the whole team, plus a $50 bonus card for the commissioner of the league, and an additional $5 bonus card for every drafter. All you got to do is visit TwinPeaksRestaurants.com and just search Fantasy Draft, and you can check that out. So pretty cool. I'm looking forward to our draft. When is our draft?
Whenever you guys want it to be.
Just set it.
It was on
just set it.
Put it there.
Don't do it on a weekend.
Every time I put a day, not a weekend.
No, come on. I don't do anything with you guys on weekends.
We'll do it. We'll do it at the week of.
God forbid.
Week 1. We'll do it the week of week 1.
Okay, that'd be fine.
Because of all these injuries and stuff like that, we want to make sure it's last minute. We'll do it like that Monday.
We should do it the Monday right after the show from Casino Arizona. Knock it out.
That'd be great.
4
o'clock. Do that.
4
That'd be fun. I'd do that. Hell, I do so much better when it does auto draft, but we'll do it. The one year, my worst years, when we did it a couple years ago at Casino Arizona, we did the drafting, all that thing, and was not a good year last year. I got 2 really good quarterbacks, got a couple good receivers.
1 minute.
But did you you were at the championship last year? Did you go to the championship
Every
game?
year I'm typically
not every year.
Typically top 3, top 4.
You and Kevin Rowe, pretty much
came down to 1 point.
Is that what it was?
It just sucks when I win my own fantasy league and I'm the one who has to provide the prizes. So I didn't decide. I saved the money and didn't buy the TV. So you guys saved me money. So my goal is to win because then I don't have to pay for the prize.
We've had some great prizes, right? I got to commend you. Every year we got some great prizes for the fantasy draft. So, something to be said about that auto draft, though.
The long wait is over. College football is back. So we're going to bring Scott Spritzer on to handicap these games. So that is next right here at Right Toyota. It's Roc and Manuch and Jimmy B. Fox Sports 910.
What's trending on Fox Sports 910 Phoenix?
Diamondbacks look to make it 4 wins in a row as they open a 3-game series against the Red Sox at Fenway Park. Ryan Nelson on the mound. Darius Robinson, the Cardinals' rookie defensive tackle, suffered a calf injury yesterday. He's undergoing tests to determine the extent of the injury. Wideout Zay Jones hit with a 5-game suspension for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy. The Cardinals play the Broncos Sunday. Preseason football tomorrow here on Fox Sports 910 as the Cowboys battle the Chargers. Coverage starts at 12:30. And the Mercury wrap up their time in Atlanta with their second game in 3 days against the Dream. I'm Frank Garrity on Fox Sports 910. Available everywhere on the free iHeartRadio app.
Looking for a place where everyone is welcome? Come to Azul Bar and Grill in Phoenix. Not your typical sports bar, Azul is the ultimate hangout spot for friends and families alike. Enjoy live music, catch your favorite games, play some fun games, and savor delicious food in a vibrant atmosphere. Visit us at 3134 West Carefree Highway in the Tremonto Plaza. Don't miss out on our daily events and specials at azulgrill.com. Azul Bar and Grill, a great time, but a better time with you.
Is it time for an all-in-one wireless printer with tons of connectivity options? With Document Solutions of the Valley, you can buy, lease, or rent models that work off of your smartphone. Call 623-252-8282. Document Solutions of the Valley. Our service can't be copied.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. I often get asked, how can Lerner & Rowe effectively handle DUI and criminal cases when you guys are a personal injury law firm? The answer is simple. We're good at it. Lerner & Rowe Law Group is a separate law firm from Lerner & Rowe Injury Attorneys. Our criminal defense attorneys have represented thousands of clients across the state. And with our affordable payment plans, you can get the defense you need immediately. If you've been wrongly charged with a crime, time is not on your side. We're available to help you 24/7.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Attention drivers, stay alert, Arizona. All City Towing, Arizona's largest towing storage services contractor, supports the move over law. If you see emergency lights, move over and slow down. Let's keep our roads safe for everyone. Sponsored by All City Towing.
Craving a sandwich that packs a punch? Welcome to Knuckle Sandwiches in Mesa. We're not your typical sandwich shop. All our menu items are made in-house using family recipes passed down for generations. Taste the difference in every bite. And we don't stop at sandwiches. Enjoy our mouth-watering breakfast burritos and delicious bagel sandwiches. Plus, we cater all over the valley for your next event. Find us at 1140 North Higley and North Point Village, next to Bashis', or skip the line and order online at knucklesandwichesaz.com. Knuckle Sandwiches. This is the knuckle sandwich your parents should have given you.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if
That's
I
good.
get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
CEOs You Should Know gives you an opportunity to learn from some of the top business executives across Arizona. Hey, it's Jody Ayler, and I'm excited to learn, so come join with me by searching CEOs You Should Know Phoenix on your free iHeartRadio app.
Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at progressive.com. That's progressive.com.
Now, sports gamblers, Scott Spritzer, one of the leaders and most trusted names in the country. Nobody watches and studies games more than he does. From DocSports.com, here's Scott Spritzer exclusively on with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on Fox Sports 910.
You're hot.
All right, you know by now, Florida State, Georgia Tech open up the season tomorrow in Dublin, 9 a.m. local start. Game day starts at 6 a.m. I know we're all excited for week 0. And joining us now, as you just heard the big voice guy, Scott Spreitzer joins us. All right, Scott, it's only 4 games tomorrow, FBS, but how many of the 4 games do you have a play on?
I've got right now, I would say maybe half a play on one of the games we're talking about. So, I have a very good mentor who's in his 80s now, who I've known for about, 30 years. And all he ever did the last 40 years is bet for a living. And he's a very well-educated guy, but you wouldn't know by the grammar he used when you kick off a new season. He would say, ain't nobody knows nothing about nothing. And so I've always gone into the season, week 0 especially, this early, August 24th, with a little bit of caution. And I think that's the best way to approach. But, yeah, one of the games I do have a play on it, not a big play or anything like that, but a play nonetheless.
Well, how do you handicap? Are you following spring football? Are you following what's going on at camp? I mean, you look at those guys that are returning. I mean, there's a lot to put in the blender when you look at a week 0 and try to handicap, I would think, Scott.
Yeah, returning starters means a lot. Maybe not quite as much to a lot of the Power 5 teams as it used to, because you have all those transfers with the transfer portal, guys coming in who started elsewhere, who found success elsewhere. And so it's not quite like, okay, next man up like it used to be. We got to develop the skills and all that kind of stuff and give them time to acclimate to being a starter. So it's a little bit different than it used to be, but I still like to see teams with a lot of returning production over teams that are bringing in new players that don't have a lot of returning production from the year before. So still look at it, look a little bit at spring, look a little bit at fall, and do my best to stay away from where everybody's playing. That's one of the things we do early on. When everybody's on one side, you tend to want to be on the other.
All right, with that being said, Florida State, Georgia Tech, the spread has moved a little bit. I have a feeling it may even move a little bit more into tomorrow morning. Where are you seeing it this time? Where you looking
Florida
at this?
State right now is 10.5. They've been as high as 13.5. And all I've heard for the last 10 days from 90% of the people is how much they like Georgia Tech. So for me, it was as low as 10, by the way, the other day in a couple of books. Hard to find, but a couple of books, 10.5 everywhere now. If you like the dog, so you've lost some value. And I'll tell you what, when I look at I look at Florida State in this game, and this is, by the way, where I have a little bit of a ticket on Florida State here. They only returned 10 starters, but again, it's a team that recruited depth under this coaching staff and brings in a couple of new players. Last year, we know what happened at the end of the season: total collapse after Jordan Travis left, and a bunch of players opted out. So you got the 10 starters back, 4 on offense. That's it. You do get DJ Uiagalelei from Oregon State, former ACC player with Clemson, third stop in his college career. But you know what I like about this team? A big, strong, solid offensive line, because they had depth last year. And when DJ found success at Oregon State, it was behind an offense that was run first and a lot of play action. And he was outstanding in that role. So I think you'll see that out of Florida State's offense this week. And then I don't know that Georgia Tech, listen, I like their head coach. I like Brent Key. I like what he's done. He's recruited speed to Georgia Tech, but that defense gave up 5.5 yards per carry, guys. And then on offense, the quarterback, Haynes King, 16 picks, saw a lot of weird passes, a lot more turnover-worthy passes. And when they scored, it was a lot of big plays. So I don't think you're going to do that against this team. And I think before the new DC, Santucci can really employ his 4-25 defense for Georgia Tech, I think Florida State can make some noise. So, again, at 10.5, I got to back Florida State. They were 13.5 just a few days ago.
What about the Mike Norvell factor? What is this, 5th year, 6th year there at Florida State? We talked about last year. We looked at all the things you said. It went to hell in a handbasket quickly. But how much do you factor in that with a lot of these new stars, so to speak, as well as the way he handled the portal?
Yeah, as far as that's concerned, the way they collapsed last year, starting so well, and then Travis gets hurt and a bunch of guys opted out. I mean, they just didn't want to be there, obviously, the players that were there. And I just kind of wiped that from the slate. I think what Norvell's done is he's actually recruited both through the transfer portal and traditional recruiting, solid depth, especially in the trenches. This might be the best defensive line in all of college football. Do I think Florida State's going to win a national title? No, I don't. But I think they're going to be too much for Georgia Tech. And I like the way Norvell's coached this team.
All right, SMU at Nevada. Last time I looked, it was minus 27 for SMU. Has that changed? Over-under is about 55.5.
This has been all over the place. 2 months ago, if we would have talked about this game, I would have told you SMU was 21.5. A week ago, they were 27. A few days ago, they were 24. Now it's back to 27 with a couple of 26.5s out there. So like mixed betting all over the place for both sharp and public money. Listen, Nevada's got to bounce back 4-20 the last 2 years after Jay Norvell headed to Fort Collins and took a bunch of players and took a bunch of coaches from the Wolfpack program. So new head coach. Listen, I don't know if you guys have had a chance to watch Jeff Choate in his pressers. That's, by the way, one of the things you asked me about prepping for early season. I love to watch press conferences from coaches in fall camp. I love to hear that day-to-day stuff. I think the Wolfpack faithful should be excited about Jeff Choate and their offensive coordinator, Matt Lubick. I mean, the number I think is a little bit too high at 27. I love the fact that Choate came out and said, this isn't a rebuilding job. We're going to let it, he said these words, we're going to let it rip. We're going to microwave it. No time to rebuild. Instead, it's a launch. And I just love that kind of talk, even if this team would lose every game this year. Preston Stone's back for the Mustangs. They could be a contender in the ACC, scored a ton of points last year in those final 6 games, and they've got the bulk of the regulars back. But the concern for me is the offensive line. I think Nevada can hang this number. I don't think they'll win, but I think they could probably hang this to about a 17 to 21 point loss, which means they cover the spread.
What have you heard of Memphis to the starting quarterback? I know Chuba Purdy's in the mix for the starting quarterback. Have you heard who the starter is going to be? I know he was a little injured, dinged up, but they had a lot of guys, as you mentioned, leave, but they brought a lot of guys in. Choate did an outstanding job of bringing in some guys, and he got quite a few off the portal as well, too.
Yeah, I love this guy. Brandon Lewis is going to get the start, according to Choate yesterday, and he was talking about Chuba being a little bit banged up right now. So Lewis is going to get the start. I'm really not happy about this hire as a UNLV guy, okay? I don't like Choate, sparking this Nevada Wolfpack program. But from a betting perspective, I think they're a team we're going to be able to play on over the next season and maybe even, have to wait a little bit till next year. But I think this is a great hire.
Scott Spreitzer, DocSports.com. Scott Wins on Twitter and X. All right, Cards, Broncos, they meet for the second straight preseason as the Broncos are a 3.5-point home favorite. At least that's what it was earlier, with a total of 35.5 this time around. Where are you leaning on this one?
Yeah, we're still looking at 2.5, 3, and the total sitting, low at 33.5 and all that. But, I look at the passing, and I see that there was accuracy out of tune, but they didn't, lead to a lot of points. And he has taken too many sacks thus far. That can all be improved. I'm not a big Ritter fan, guys. I'm just calling it like I see it. I wasn't a fan of his when he was in Atlanta. I'm not a fan of his right now. The defense was bad against the run last week with the backups. We'll see how things go with the signings of both Justin Jones and Bilal Nichols. But last year they were dead last against the run. So in this game, you got those two quarterbacks for Denver. You got Stidham, you've got Zach Wilson. And I do believe that gives the Broncos a little bit of an edge. It's a lean on Denver. They've been sound on defense in preseason play with their backups. I think they'll continue to do so. And again, that line, actually it's 35.5, that total now, and Denver laying basically 2.5, 3, but I'll lean on Denver in that one.
Scott, can you look at this game? He talked about Desmond Ritter. I think he's got to prove a lot in this game. Do you look at some of the guys that are playing that have to, like a quarterback or could be a running back or receiver, or even on the defensive side, that have to make something happen? And does that affect the way you handicap a game, especially with a quarterback, maybe a veteran quarterback that's somewhat on the bubble, but he's playing in this game?
Yeah, that's the thing about like with this is when I look at, for instance, Ritter, he does have to impress, but he never has. I mean, I again, it sounds harsh, but we're just calling it like it is. He's never impressed in the NFL at his first stop with the Falcons and now in this short time with the Cardinals. And so, yeah, he's got to prove himself, but I don't know that he's got what it takes to do so. I look at the flip side. On the other side of the sideline, you got Stidham and Wilson, who have both, shown that they can lead an offense for the most part if a starting quarterback goes down. And so I haven't seen that out of Ritter in his career in Atlanta or, again, so far this preseason with the Cardinals. So, yeah, he's got to prove something, but does he have the goods to get the job done?
John Harbaugh does not like to lose, and you know that. The Ravens at the Packers -3. So he lost his first preseason game like in 90 tries the first week or second week. So how do you look at this game?
Well, it's crazy, too, because I miss the days when you didn't have to think. You just walked to the window and put your money down on the Ravens in preseason.
Sure.
Cash the ticket, ticket after ticket. It didn't matter who was playing. Didn't matter if it was a fourth-string guy who was going to be on the team for 8 hours and pack his bags. They just went out and won because,
Sure.
as you said, Harbaugh doesn't like to lose. But they've now lost 6 in a row when it comes to the spread going back to last year in preseason play. In fact, the final preseason game from 2 seasons ago, he lost that. He's lost 6 in a row against the spread. So maybe we now have a blind bet against Harbaugh in preseason play. But Green Bay, listen, they played their starting offense in week 1, went right down the field, no problems, like a hot knife through butter. Those players really haven't played since, and the offense looks bad with the backups on the field, led by Sean Clifford, and then he'll be followed by Michael Pratt this week. The Ravens are not scoring points with their backups, but the defensive backups guys have been on their game. So I think you get backups galore. You're going to have quarterbacks that we're not going to see too often or at all in the regular season. The total is low. It's 33.5. I think it stays under. I don't think they get to 33.5.
All right. When you see a spread like 39.5 with Delaware State, I know they only had 1 win last year. They got to go all the way across the country to play Hawaii, but Hawaii isn't the best.
It's a 10-hour flight, Rock.
I know, but
10 hours.
I mean, you kind of look at that and you just kind of say, all right, I'm not going to touch that, or do you put a flyer on the points because there's so many?
Well, I look at it, believe it or not. I mean, I treat it the 38.5 even like a 3-point spread. I really do what I'm handicapping because there's obviously a reason that Hawaii of all teams is laying about 6 touchdowns. But listen, you got a situation here where you've got a team that not only has to fly across the country, they're young. I worry a little bit about the Wahinis. Can I still say that in 2024?
Sure.
Cruising around on the beach, and everybody's in their best shape and all that kind of stuff. I worry about like that little bit about that when you're coming from Delaware. I'm from Nebraska. I know a thing or two about that. So, Delaware's not that much difference. But I think this offense is going to be able to produce for Hawaii. I just can't pull the trigger on laying 6 touchdowns with the Rainbow Warriors. And again, I know that they got a rebuild going on after Todd Graham. Boy, what a disastrous couple of seasons. But the problem for me is that this roster lacks a little bit in the trenches on offense and defense. They still haven't rebuilt that. And because of that, I just can't trust them enough to lay that kind of point spread. However, I am not going to back Delaware State. If you said I absolutely had to play this game for my lungs, I would lay the big points with Hawaii.
Hey, real quick, Scott, I've got about a minute here. Does your handicapping the Steelers going to change much now they lost their starting center and they're going to have a rookie center in moving forward? Russell Wilson's going to play a little bit this weekend, but does that change at all your thoughts on the Steelers moving forward?
Just adds to my bet. I played under 8.5 wins, guys, a couple weeks ago at Pittsburgh. I think Mike Tomlin's going to finally have a losing season. And then, of course, like you said, they lose their starting center going with a young gun now. And I think it's going to hurt them even more. This offensive line has not been good for 6 or 7 years. They haven't developed it. They haven't improved. Who's your quarterbacks? Justin Fields, who hasn't been able to read a defense with all that talent that he has. He's not been able to put it together. Or Russ, who has certainly seen his better days. They might have been better off with Kenny Pickett, who's now in Philly, even though he struggled. So you got the great defense as long as T.J. Watt is healthy. But, boy, I'm concerned big time about that offense. I played under 8.5 a couple of weeks ago, and I'm not upset about my situation right now.
Scott, thank you as always. With football's here, we've been waiting, so it's been a long summer, but now it's time to focus on football. So thanks for making time as you always do.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Take care.
Scott Spreitzer from DocSports.com. Been with us for over 15 years. On Twitter, he's at Scott Wins, and he's courtesy today of Twin Peaks and the Fan Pick'em. Yeah, the Fan Pick'em's back for, I believe, it's 16th, 17th year.
Easy.
As this is where you pick your pro football picks each week, and we are grand prize is $5,000. Blue Moon Coors Lights on board, and we have weekly man cards. We also got a survivor in there as well. So fanpick'em.com. It's up, ready to go. Get your picks in, fanpick'em.com. All right, Cardinals. Looks like they're going to start their season without their first-round pick, Darius Robinson. He got carted off the field yesterday. We're going to get into the reports, the latest, as well as another Cardinal who's been suspended for 5 games. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910.
Need an all-in-one wireless copier and printer or IT help for your business? Call Document Solutions of the Valley, the official copier and IT solutions company for Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Document Solutions is leading the Valley in business solutions for copier and IT service. They'll support your business no matter how big or small. Take advantage of either buying, leasing, or renting many makes and models of copiers. For a free quote, call 623-252-8282. Document Solutions of the Valley. Our service can't be copied.
Got a burning urge to pick games each week? Sign up now for Twin Peaks Fan Pick'em, brought to you by Blue Moon and Coors Light. It's totally free to play. Win weekly Twin Peaks fan cards and season-long prizes, including $5,000 cash. Visit fanpick'em.com.
Crest Insurance is about more than providing coverage. It's about creating your safety net. We offer access to a national network of trusted carriers. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, we're here to help with a personal touch that's close to home. We're deeply invested in our communities, supporting local charities and initiatives that uplift those in need. Crest Insurance. Coverage you can trust. Service you can count on.
What's up, guys? Jason Payne, owner of State 48 Roofing. Monsoon season is here, which means my team and I are ready to serve you and your family. Go to state48roofing.com, scan the QR code below. We'll see you up on your roof.
Get ready to turn heads with Arizona Color Vehicle Wraps, the original vehicle wrap shop. Your one-stop shop for business branding, vehicle wraps, and graphics. Our in-house graphic design team specializes in everything from food trucks to business fleets, RVs, cargo trailers, and side-by-sides. Ready to elevate your brand? Call Arizona Color Vehicle Wraps at 623-580-7386 or get a quick quote online at arizonacolorwraps.com. One call wraps it all.
You scaled the sheer cliff face, battling frostbite, running low on oxygen. The wind pierced your skin, and every inch was agony. You reached heights no other human had before, while getting nowhere at airport security. There's more to imagine when you listen. Discover best-selling action titles on Audible.
It's the perfect time to get a jump on fall style at Macy's Ultimate Shopping Event, where you'll find incredible savings on the wardrobe update you need. Shop great looks you can wear now and later, with an extra 25% off designer brands that rarely go on sale, and 15% off your favorite makeup, fragrance, skincare, and more. Get ready for your best fall yet. Today at Macy's. Savings off regular and already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Now back to the Roc and Manuch Show, live from Wright Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the selection, and always right on the price. Wright Toyota, 77th Street and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale, and online at wrighttoyota.com.
Let's get ready for football!
It's football at 50. The latest top football story trending this hour. Right here with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on Fox Sports 910 and the iHeart Radio app.
All right, Cardinals wide receiver St. Jones was suspended by the NFL today for 5 games due to a violation of the league's personal conduct policy. This is according to ESPN and the NFL Network. The NFL Network is reporting that the suspension is from a misdemeanor domestic battery charge last November. Now, that charge was dropped in March, although the NFL then got involved and they conducted their own investigation, and then they come back with this 5-game suspension. Now, he just signed a 1-year contract with Arizona in May, $4.25 million. And the arrest, this battery charge that was against him, was allegedly an argument that he had with the mother of his child, which resulted in an injury to her neck. This according to the arrest and booking report by ESPN. So that's where that is. He's going to get suspended. He's a former second-round pick from Jacksonville. He's spent a couple years there. He's 27, so he's 2017, is when he was drafted. But he's a guy that I think could have made a nice contribution to this team, especially with all the injuries that we see, especially wide receivers. That got a guy there that's on paper number 4. He could jump in at number 3.
Well, and you look at the schedule, you're going to need all hands on deck. I mean, he's a great depth guy. They would incorporate him in a game. I think a 4-receiver package, 5-receiver package. You pull out Trey McBride as your tight end. You put him in there, and now you got Tawan Palmer. You got Chris Moore. Tawan Palmer is one of the kids that's played last year and this year a little bit.
No, he they drafted him.
Okay, so he's a kid.
Nobody knows who he is. My point.
Well, but I mean, he's third on the depth chart.
You didn't know who he was.
I seen him play a little bit in preseason.
Oh, you see, he played last year though.
But here's a kid. But I think when you look at this team overall, I mean, receiving core.
Still room in the rewind.
What's that?
Yeah, I could put that in there.
Squeeze that in there?
Yeah, he was the 2024 6th-round pick out of UAB.
So, okay.
So you've seen him play.
I'd look out
Watching
for
preseason a little
I'd
bit.
look out for Xavier Weaver, man. Xavier Weaver, wide receiver, undrafted out of Colorado. He's been making plays. I wouldn't be surprised. I'd love to see him in the lineup.
So when you look at your fantasy draft, a lot of people are going to jump on Marvin Harrison Jr. as the number one for the Cardinals, right? This also may be one of the years like last year where not one Cardinal will go in the first 4 rounds. Who would be the highest drafted Cardinal right now? Kyler Murray?
Marvin
Harrison.
Yeah. Okay, maybe, but not first round. If you're a fantasy guy like I am, I'm not drafting him that early.
First,
he's never
second
played
round
before.
is where he's going.
I'll say, well, it depends on the league, but no more than 2.
I don't know if he's going to be.
I think the bigger play is whoever the number 2 guy is. If everybody's going to be targeting on him, I mean, he's the top player on this team right now on paper.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I think you draft him high, because he'd be the go-to guy. He'd be that home run hitter.
So
I
if
think
he's getting double teamed all the time.
Well, but he's a guy.
Wilson is a good pick late. Dortch is a good pick late.
Well, Harrison just finally they got a guy that can take it to the house.
Let's hope so.
As far as yards, as far as points. But I would say if there's that one Cardinal, be Marvin Harrison Jr. Aside from that, I really don't know.
I think McBride be a good pick up early on
for tight end. Yeah, because that's kind of his.
Tight ends are good picks. In fantasy,
especially for Kyler Murray, because that's who he found the last 8 games. I mean, that was his go-to guy. Now you have a combination: Marvin Harrison Jr., McBride, Wilson will factor in big how much they come after. But on paper, this receiving core, you should get some productive yards out of this receiving core. I would think. I
looked up the average draft position in fantasy right now for Marvin Harrison Jr., and he is the highest Cardinal that is being drafted right now. But his average draft position is 17th. So in a 12-team league, he's going in the middle of the second round.
Okay.
In a 10-team league, he's going towards the back part of the second round. So it just depends on how many teams you're in. But a middle second round to late second round pick is the earliest that Marvin Harrison Jr. will be going.
For tight ends, where would Trey McBride be right now, Shu?
Trey McBride, the 48th player overall, tight end 4 in PPR formats. 47th is his ADP. Yeah, the only 3 in front of him, and I'm doing this on the fly here, are Mark Andrews in Baltimore, Sam Laporta in Detroit, and then Travis Kelce in Kansas City.
It's a pretty good group right there. I mean, if you're number 4 and you're following that group, that's pretty good. But again, I think it's when you look at how last year ended, and he's like that security blanket that I think Kyler Murray relied on too much last year when he got back into it. And I think that now that he has Marvin Harrison Jr., that might expand things. So his receptions for Trey McBride might be down a little bit, but I think where he might rely on him most is inside that 20-yard line as far as touchdowns are concerned. I think you might see more touchdowns out of McBride, I think, initially, until I think Kyler Murray gets comfortable with Marvin Harrison Jr.
The other story today regarding the Cardinals, report surfaced yesterday that rookie defensive lineman Darius Robinson was injured in practice, and it was confirmed today with Jonathan Gannon, who said that he is undergoing an MRI or imaging, and they'll find out the severity of his injury.
And fortunately, it's a calf. There's no meniscus or MCL or anything like that. And if it's a strain, maybe he's back within 2 to 3 weeks. If it's a tear, that could be a 4 to 5 weeks. It could be a good solid month for him to come back. So hopefully,
be a little bit more positive.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if you're a Cardinal fan, you're hoping for just a strain, and then something he can work out in the next 3 weeks. Maybe he's ready for opening game. But if he feels any discomfort whatsoever, they can't put like a calf sleeve on it to keep it warm. Then they might hold him out that first game against Buffalo.
I know it's only been a couple of preseason games, and you look at this roster, you look at the experience, this defense is going to get torched by some teams in this league.
They don't have the horses, so to speak. I mean,
what are they going to get? Is there going to be a couple diamonds in the rough that are going to be available after this weekend?
No, I just think that they're really their I think their strength is Kazir White, their linebacker, and Jalen Thompson, Buda Baker. You got question mark, and Melton's going to start at your corner, at the right corner. Garrett Williams on the other side. Yeah, you're right. Your front 4. They've got a lot to prove. That's why, at least initially, if Darius Robinson's out for the first 2 or 3 games, you're going to miss his push. You're going to miss his motor, as they say, as far as rushing the quarterback.
Football 50 is poured by El Bandino Yankee Tequila, the official tequila of Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. We got Jack's Rewind coming up. We're also going to go out to Denver, get a preview of the Broncos. It's Roc, Manuch, Jackson Shu out here at Wright Toyota on Fox Sports 910.
Clear.
Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B has been sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing.
Hey, it's Dom with Venezia's Pizzeria. You know us for delicious family dinners and huge party pizzas. But did you know we are great at feeding a large group too? Our full catering menu has a ton of variety, so everyone will find something they love. And the best part? We don't charge per head. Just tell us how many people you need to feed, and we'll handle the rest. Check out our catering menu at venezias.com. That's venezias.com. Venezia's, a family and catering tradition.
Are you sick of fad diets or tired of overpaying for name brand weight loss meds? Semaglutide and tirzepatide, now available at Metier Clinical Services. These injectables are revolutionizing weight loss, starting at just $275 per month. Transform your health today, whether in Arcadia or online at metierpharmacy.com. Our expert team supports you every step of the way. Ready to take control? Contact Metier Clinical Services at 602-835-2675. Visit metierclinicalservices.com. Consult your healthcare provider before starting any weight loss program.
Been hungry for some college football? Well, we finally get a taste this weekend. Don't miss any of the action. Jump in at DraftKings Sportsbook. It's a small but mighty slate of games for week 0, including a big matchup in Ireland. This is going to be DraftKings' biggest college football season to date. Enjoy the ride now all the way through the expanded playoffs. Plus, all newbies getting into the college spirit, here's something extra special. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Score big with DraftKings all college football season long. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code 910. That's code 910 for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. 21 plus, Arizona only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit and eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at dkng.co/ftball.
Another insurance story from
Smart Bunny. Smart Bunny.
It's raining inside.
Pipes burst, but we're covered with renter's insurance from Smart Bunny.
Get up to $100,000 of personal liability coverage and up to $40,000 of contents insurance for as low as $15 a month. Hop on the Smart Bunny app for some renter's insurance. Smart Bunny Insurance.
Smart Bunny. Smart Bunny.
Your insurance super app. Insurance is sold by Smart Bunny Insurance Services and underwritten by various companies. Coverage exclusions and limitations may apply.
Don't let prostate cancer sideline you. Early detection can save lives. Talk to Arizona urology specialists about getting screened. Arizona Urology Specialists. Personal care for life's most personal issues. Visit ArizonaURO.com or call 602-887-2160.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Broadcasting from the Raffi Law Group Studios. This is KGME Phoenix, KESC HD3 Phoenix. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app for all your sports talk, podcasts, and music. Free never sounded so good.
Cardinals receiver Zay Jones has been suspended 5 games for violating the league's personal conduct policy. Jones was arrested last November and charged with domestic battery. Those charges were dropped earlier this year. The NFL concluding preseason football action this weekend. The Cardinals play the Broncos in Denver on Sunday. Meanwhile, the Chargers are in Dallas tomorrow for the Cowboys. All the action right here on Fox Sports 910, starting at 12:30. The Diamondbacks, for the first time since 2016, are at Fenway Park. They have a 3-game weekend series against the Red Sox. Ryan Nelson on the mound for the opener. I'm Frank Garrity on Fox Sports 910, available everywhere on the free iHeartRadio app.
This is the Parker & Sons Weather Center. For all your AC, plumbing, and electric needs, call Parker.
For tonight, look for mostly clear skies, some breezier conditions. Overnight low right around 82. And then for your weekend, things are not looking too bad. Plenty of sunshine and those temperatures right around where they should be at 105 for your Saturday and Sunday. For the Fox 10 Weather Experts, I'm Ty Brennan.
This report is sponsored by Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org.
Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B is sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing. Now back to the Roc and Manuch Show, live from Wright Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the selection, and always right on the price. Wright Toyota, 77th Street and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale, and online at wrighttoyota.com. Calling all sports with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Proudly sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing. and is powered by the injury attorneys Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And always online at lernerandrowe.com. Now time for Calling All Sports with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on Fox Sports 910.
All right, out of Wright Toyota today. It's a Friday. D-backs are in Boston. They're going to battle the Red Sox, and Cards are heading to Denver as they will face the Broncos in the final preseason game. As the D-backs are coming off a travel day and a 3-game sweep of the Marlins, and they hope they can continue that into Boston as they enter the day holding the top National League wild card spot. They're 72-56. They sit just 4 games behind the LA Dodgers for first place. How awesome would it be to them continue to do what they are doing, and for some reason the Dodgers, which have been just dominant, but also they're dominant with a lot of their guys hurt.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And here, if they come out and maybe get 2 or 3 in Boston, and then just kind of get this thing rolling as you get into September.
Well, you got the Red Sox, but Shu, you had some breaking news reference to Jordan Montgomery looking to go to the bullpen. Is that what the latest is?
Yeah, Troy Lavello, before the series began tonight against Boston, said that Ryan Nelson, who's the starter tonight, is going to remain in the rotation, and they're going to move Jordan Montgomery to the bullpen. Not surprising considering the poor performances from Jordan Montgomery as of late, but more so, I think the bigger story is the good performances that this team has gotten from Ryan Nelson, and it's going to be really hard to look that clubhouse in the face and say, yeah, you know, this guy that's been pitching really well for the last couple of weeks, we're going to take him out in the middle of not only a wild card race, but a chance to win the division. So I think the right move, and I think with the timing with Ryan Nelson starting tonight, makes sense.
He's had pretty much the best numbers, hasn't he, the last couple of weeks of being Ryan Nelson? I mean, you look at it.
He's been awesome. He has just found something in the way that he's throwing his fastball that's just allowed him to have some success that he did not have at the beginning of the season. And this is the time where you want this to all click and all go together when you are going to be playing very important games. I don't think there's a night where you can really take off at this stage of the season. So having a emergence like Ryan Nelson here in the latter part of the season is a nice thing for this team.
And are there any guys that you see getting called up that could help this team get through September and into October?
In terms of hitting, no, it was Del Castillo was probably the only guy that could have been an impact, and he certainly has been. He's been huge for them. But we've seen it throughout the year. They've gone through a lot of the pitching depth that they have. They've gone through a lot of the relievers that they had. That's why they made the moves they did at the deadline to acquire more. Listen, when they expand the rosters in September, there's always an opportunity to call up just an additional arm or two to give you options down there. But I don't see anybody that really just stands out as this person's going to absolutely make a difference.
Yeah, this is going to get real competitive. Last 5 weeks of the season, we talked about the Mets coming in town and then the Dodgers. You look at the schedule throughout the rest of the year, there's only one team, that's been the Rockies, that are pretty much out of it. Everybody else will be contending either for wild card or for a division championship. So this thing's going to come right down the wire. So to your point, Rock, hopefully the D-backs bats can stay hot. And that you get, from tonight, we got Nelson taking the mound, and tomorrow you get Gallen, and then Merrill Kelly. Rough outing last week, his last outing. But it's going to be pretty competitive. This thing could come down the wire. Giants, they're kind of, I doubt that they make a run, but they could. But at least you'll have teams that are fighting to try at least make the wild card. Rockies, the only team out of the next 5 weeks that are pretty much out of the race.
Little League World Series coming to an end this weekend. Let's go, USA. You got the United States and the International League Championships going on this week, so that they get that set. As Florida will take on Texas, and Chinese will take on Venezuela.
You watch the highlights? I watch ESPN Sports Center. These kids are big kids nowadays.
Yeah,
I'm like, wow, that kid's like 5'10", about 125 pounds. But I think it was the Florida team that was raking yesterday, and you talked about them going to the World Series. I would love to see the Little League World Series do the best 2 out of 3 for the championship game. And that would be a lot of fun, like they do now with the College World Series. But I just watching that going, my goodness gracious. And then it had a documentary on female baseball players that went back to when they were allowed to play Little League baseball. It had that one gal, black gal, about 4 or 5 years ago, pitcher.
Yeah.
She could bring it.
She's good.
I forgot all about
Bode
her.
Davis.
Yeah. Anybody ever find out whatever happened to her? She'd go on to high school and pitch, or where she's at maybe 5 or 6 years ago. But it was a good documentary going way back, I think to when they allowed girls to play Little League baseball. couple of really good ball players too.
So Cards, Denver tomorrow. Clayton Tune will get the start, which leads us to our State 48 Roofing It's Your Call question of the day. Who has more to prove for the backup job with the Cardinals? Is it Desmond Ritter or Clayton Tune? Ritter or Tune are your two choices. Go to our Twitter page at Roc and Manuch. And for a free quote, repair, head to state48roofing.com and follow them on social media. Search #SexyRoofStats.
Well, Desmond Ritter, who I voted, 62.5%. Clayton Tune, 37.5%. And from all indications, we talked to Coach Fooey, who we have on every Monday. He's talked to him, several other players, Bob McManaman. The thing that surprised Desmond Ritter's accuracy or lack thereof at practice, and they said just hasn't looked sharp, even with 1-on-1 drills or 7-on-7 drills. And they said Clayton Tune has looked sharp. So, it looks like Ritter will probably get the second half. How much he has to prove or how much he has to show this Arizona Cardinals staff, as far as who the backup is going to be, will be very interesting. I think that pressure's on him. Quite frankly, guys, I think they keep all three of them. Now, who they decide to go with as a backup, they still may not decide until maybe the week of the first game against the Buffalo Bills. But I think right now Desmond Ritter's got to show a little bit more. Last week they were kind of even, but I think as far as getting the ball out, getting the ball down the field, being decisive with this offense, knowing he can handle this offense in particular, make the right reads, and be able to go ahead and make the adjustments with his receiving core. So Desmond Ritter right now at 62.5%.
Deion Sanders.
What now, Rock?
So Colorado Athletics have told the Denver Post that their columnist, Sean Keeler, will no longer be able to ask questions due to personal attacks on the program and Coach Sanders.
Personal attacks? Like what kind of personal attacks?
Well, it says
it's about the rankings.
Yeah.
That whole spiel that happened a couple weeks ago.
That was ridiculous.
It says, after a series of sustained personal attacks on the football program and specifically Coach Prime, the CU Athletic Department, in conjunction with the football program, have decided not to take questions from Denver Post columnist Sean Keeler at football-related events.
We'll have to talk to Brandon Cristal here at the bottom of the hour
from
Denver about that one. I think if he's the one,
it's amazing that a school
real quick
is censoring a media member.
Well, guys, I mean, when you and the apparently Colorado Sports Information Department gave examples to the Denver Post. And so when you use things like false prophet or Planet Prime or the Bruce Lee of BS or the Dion Kool-Aid and calling the program a circus, those apparently are personal attacks where you can't answer any of the questions. He also apparently called him, what other one is in here? Deposition Dion was one of the other ones that was used. So I guess we don't really, we don't have thin skin there in
No,
Colorado.
we don't.
And Dion's a guy that he wants this attention. He is a media guy that is a football coach.
Now he wants
shoot. He's got the Aflac. He's got all these different, sponsorships that he's doing and endorsements. And
I think this is a different guy though. That the CBS guy.
It's a different guy.
Yeah, different guy because he didn't answer the CBS affiliate guy's question about the rankings of where he was, and he said, "Well, I know you did, and I like you, but I'm not answering your question. It's your parent company back there that ranked me. I don't know, was it last or close to last? But again, it's just, hey, Dion, show a little class. Take the high road.
And at the same time, win more than 4 games.
Exactly. You know what?
I mean, let's be honest.
Hey.
I mean, if the guy's winning, he's not going to be getting people calling it a circus.
And the other thing, too, is that his son, Shador, is the highest paid, what I've seen, highest paid ranked
making like
quarter.
$3-4 million?
About close to $4 million per year. There's like the top 15 quarterbacks. I think Will Howard was like at $900,000. And it worked up to Shador Sanders, close to $3.5-4 million, something like that. You know what? Hey, Dion, you know what? Why don't you just worry about what's on the field? People are going to say whatever they're going to say. And to your point, Shu, yeah, why don't you be a little more thick-skinned? You're a pro athlete. They said a lot of things about Neon, Dion, prime time, and all the above. Why can't you just ignore the noise? And if it's personal, I mean, isn't there like a First Amendment to say what you want and still be censored like that?
If I am the editor or if I'm the head honcho for the Denver Post, I mean, that is the Arizona Republic of Denver, right? Do you not cover him?
Well, unless you assign somebody else to it.
Well, they'll assign somebody else.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, I don't. They'll cover him. They'll
Oh,
put somebody else there, and have him go ahead and do that. But I
But
think
is this going to happen every time somebody asks him a question he doesn't like?
Well,
he's going to cry to the SID office.
you know what? There might be maybe a little protest by some of the other riders in lieu of something like this. Maybe you don't show up for you report from afar. Maybe you pretty much at the presser that he's supposed to have daily or whenever he has them, that you just we're not going to show up in support of our guy.
I'm anxious because
that's ridiculous.
This Sean Keeler guy will end up being on the Dan Patrick Show. He'll be on Colin Cowherd. We'll get it out. We'll hear about it, and I'm sure there's another side to this. I mean, to what Shu said, Planet Prime, Bruce Lee of BS, all that kind of stuff. I think it's kind of fun.
It's his opinion.
And that's
he's a columnist.
Yeah, exactly. He's a columnist.
I know we're going to get into the semantics of journalist versus a columnist, but when you are a columnist, that's what you do.
Yes.
And so if you want to be upset by it, that's fine. I don't think anything in there is to the level of being this.
Not
upset.
at all.
But if you want to be upset about it, fine. But the fact that he has, this being Deion Sanders, in his contract that requires him to speak only with, this is the fun quote, mutually agreed upon media, end quote. That's in his contract that he can do this. And Colorado can't do anything about it. So he can go up there and be upset with whoever he wants to be upset with. And then in his mind, I don't mutually agree anymore. And I'm not going to answer any of your questions. When he got hired there, a lot of people were like, oh, he's going to turn Colorado around. It's been a joke. It has been an absolute joke and a circus. And I am not surprised that this is how this ended.
Hey, if you can't take the heat, get the hell out of the kitchen, Deion. I mean, you got to take the good with the bad. Somewhere in the middle lies the truth.
And this isn't just happened yesterday. I mean, it's the athletic department started basically saying, hey, you can't ask any more questions back on August 12th. So this has been going on for a little while. And this also isn't the same time, or this happened, like I said, let me start over. This has happened before. He had a reporter at the Jackson Ledger barred at 1.2. But here's the deal, Chris Schubert. The sports editor for the Post, his name's Matt Schubert. Can you make a call to your uncle?
Unrelated.
Get this fixed?
No, unrelated. I do not believe Matt and I are related.
You may be on the boat. I mean, who knows?
Isn't there some
You came in legally, right?
Who, me? I'm a United States citizen. Thank you very much.
Isn't there some kind of a lawsuit waiting to happen here, right? A free press to be able to show up?
Well, they're
and
saying
ask
he can
questions?
still go. They're saying he can still go. They're just saying they won't answer his questions. So I don't know if you're going to win a First Amendment battle there. So he can still go and he can still just be there. And they'll answer questions from other people of the Denver Post. They're just singling him out when it comes to not taking.
It's wrong.
questions.
That's totally wrong.
Those are our headlines brought to you by the Twin Peaks Fantastic Tailgating Sweepstakes. We have stepped it up this year. You text PEAKS to 59925. You can do it every day, once a day, for your chance to win one big prize. And it's big. It's a Traeger grill. It's a Blackstone griddle. It's a pizza oven. It's a cornhole set. It's a portable beer pong table. It's an outdoor projector with inflatable screen. It's a cooler. It's a $250 Twin Peaks gift card. And Wild Gear tumblers that are Roc and Manuch. So all you got to do, no purchase necessary. Just text PEAKS, as I mentioned, to 59925. Standard message and data rates apply. What do you have to lose? We're not taking your information. We're not blasting you. You're not getting reminders. It's not like that. Just text PEAKS to 59925 for your chance to win this sweepstakes. It's the biggest we've ever done, thanks to Blue Moon and Coors Light and Twin Peaks. Jacks and Shoes Rewind is next. It's Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B.
Valley traffic from the Valley Toyota Dealers Traffic Center.
We have a crash in the downtown on westbound I-10 near 16th Street. It's sitting off to the right. 17 northbound near 7th Street, another crash off to the side of the road. And all lanes currently blocked in Tempe at the intersection of Rural and Warner.
This report is sponsored by Tire Rack. Nearly 3,000 teen drivers die in car crashes each year. Tire Rack Street Survival is designed to save lives. The one-day hands-on driving school gives teens experience in car control through exercises that include emergency braking and skid recovery. Find a class near you at TireRack.com/survive.
Hey, sports fans, celebrate every big game with El Bandito Yankee, an ultra-premium tequila made from 100% Blue Weber agave in the highlands of Jalisco. Their certified additive-free Blanco and Reposado feature a unique oxygenation process for a rich smoothness without that tequila burn. That's why they've won platinum and gold medals and are now listed as one of the world's top tequilas by Rolling Stone. Head over to your local store, favorite bar, or restaurant and enjoy. Go to elbanditoyankee.com and break out the Bandito with the official tequila of game day.
Tune in Thursdays at 1:30 p.m. for the Crest Insurance Group Sun Devil Report with Coach Charlie Regal. Crest Insurance. Coverage you can trust, service you can count on. Every Thursday on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on Fox Sports 910.
Rock for RightToyota.com. At Right Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all of their innovative web tools on RightToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at RightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at RightToyota.com.
Kick off the football season with Twin Peaks, Roc, Manuch, Jimmy B, and Fox Sports 910 for our fantastic tailgating sweepstakes. Text PEAKS to 59925 for your chance to win a Traeger grill, Blackstone griddle, and more. No purchase necessary. Details at rockandmanuch.com.
You hear it all the time. Lawyers talk about all their experience, many years of experience with insurance companies, and experience in the courtroom. But what they're not talking about is their results. Maybe they don't have any. At Lerner and Rowe, we're proud of our results because that's how we measure our success. We've helped over 150,000 people recover billions of dollars for their injuries, with over $1 billion just in the last 5 years alone. When you want results, call Lerner and Rowe.
Lerner and Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. JD Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Limited time.
Jax, I had a late edition.
Information, visit jdpower.com/awards. To find a store near you, visit Sleep Number.
Not from today's show, but I had a late edition. I finally pulled something today that I wanted to pull all week.
Presented by DraftKings Fantasy Sports.
Ryan Nelson on the mound for the Diamondbacks as they open a 3-game weekend.
It's really good.
Fenway Park against the Red Sox.
Are we going to have time? Some of these are long.
Suspended 5 games for violating the league's personal conduct policy. He was arrested last November and charged with domestic battery. The Pro Football Hall of Fame announced several changes.
No, you have to leave all the chaotic context.
The reduction of the waiting period for coaches,
especially with these Jimmy B ones.
To 1. I'm Frank Garrity.
Check out what DraftKings has to offer this season with Code SPORTS, because life's more fun when you're in on the action. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem?
I think so.
Gambler. Age and eligibility.
I think I have them in the right order.
Prohibited. See DraftKings.com for details.
In case you missed this week of Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, our fine rookie Jackson Groff has you covered.
This is exactly what I've been waiting for.
Jack puts it all together. The best, the worst, and in his mind, the funniest moments from this week's shows. This is Jax's Rewind exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
All right, we do it every Friday at this time. By the way, we're going to go up to Denver, and we'll get a report on this Deion Sanders not taking columnist questions anymore from the Denver Post, as well as talk about the Broncos on Sunday. All right, Jax, take it away.
Now, I wanted to ask you guys, do you guys get a little nervous during this segment? Because, this is the one thing that you don't prep. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's about to.
No, because I know I got at least I'm going to have a couple.
I also know, with the exception of Shoe, I sign your checks. So
that's why you haven't been on the Rewind in a while.
So, I know that's part of the
Don't let that intimidate you at all, Jax. At all.
I've been signing
There's less material for Rock. There's less material for us to pick from. He's only on the show 3 days a week.
Yeah,
very true.
Well,
very true.
You do have that one rock drop, don't you?
I have 2 rock drops that we have considered here in the thing. But yes, I think the one that you are referencing is this lovely pronunciation of observations.
Out of the 40-something thousand people that I saw had a Diamondback shirt on.
Wow,
that's one observer or oblig. How do you say it?
You observed one
observation. Thank you. It's like I had a mini stroke. I mean, that was terrible. It was terrible.
Now hold on. Now keep that in mind. Keep that theme in mind of not being able to pronounce words here today. Just keep that in mind. Okay.
All right. Well, this first one,
Thank you, Shu.
Jimmy B went on a little vacation because he works his ass off during the week and went out to San Diego. And he wanted to tell us that he went clubbing in San Diego over the weekend.
He was telling us as we were getting on the air today that, he was on this big yacht. He was doing all this stuff. And then he went clubbing. So when I just heard that song come on, how do you roll in a club, Jimmy? I mean, I'm just curious at 75 or how old you are. 92. How do you roll in?
Right to the dance floor.
Maybe with the wheelchair.
No, if the tune, if I like
if that song you just heard coming back for Document Solutions.
Yeah,
I mean, I saw you. You're nodding the head. So. Yeah. What does your entourage look like when you walk in?
He's got the white boy head pump.
I mean, are you are you out front or are you kind of the back?
No. I'm always in the front.
Man.
You got the polyesters on. You got the pumps on.
Because what people don't realize with Jimmy B, and if you listen to the show on a regular basis, Fridays we torch him, and he's not here. He's not there to defend himself. Oops. But here, on a Monday, it's all of us, which is nice. And we
kids today just don't get
it. So where I'm going with this,
yes, I'm afraid
you said you went clubbing in San Diego.
Yeah.
Like where would a guy your age go clubbing?
Where people go to listen to good funky music.
Such a cheese ball. He got picked on a lot.
I thought I was cheesy.
No, you are.
I mean, I admit it.
No, you're worse than he is. Yeah.
Jimmy goes clubbing. Just remember that.
Well, last week around this time, we talked about Jimmy B's obvious take about watching out for Oregon. This is another take that Manuch made, was pretty obvious regards to Bo Nix. And then in the middle of the clip, I don't even know what sentence this is. I don't even think it's English from Manuch, but here's the clip.
Manuch,
I got to go.
Your G2G
I got to go the Bo Nix. I think soon to be the starter named by Sean Payton of the Broncos.
Yeah, what a stretch that is today, Manuch.
But he just, this last game, 8 for 9, 140.7 passer rating. Looks comfortable throwing the football, 80 yards passing, had the 1 touchdown pass, had 1 call back. Runs very, very well. So I think that my G2G protein bar game changer is going to be throughout the season. My prediction.
What the hell did you just say?
Game changer is going to be throughout the season. My prediction.
Stay off the weed.
That'd be one. Bo Nix had a heck of a game. Second preseason game to lead his team in preseason down.
Can we mark this tape? This is the biggest prediction of the year.
I'm going out on a leaf here.
It's almost. I put it at the same level as Jimmy B saying Oregon.
Watch out for Oregon.
Watch out for Oregon.
Well, I could have told you and me. We could have said that when Bo Nix got drafted first round that he was going to start this year.
Yeah.
Well, there was not a doubt that he would now start
in Denver.
And I agree with that, but I think he's convinced one Sean Payton. He did. Jared Stidham was a veteran. He was looking to come in there.
Come on.
And Sean Payton's a veteran guy.
And Zach Wilson.
Really?
Yeah, Zach Wilson was totally out of the picture.
Oh, well, this next one, this happened on yesterday's show of Rock talking about the Eagles trade with Jahan Dotson and how excited he was of the roster. That's going to be the first part of the clip. The second part ended up 3 minutes later, and this clearly illustrates that Jimmy B does not listen.
Their wide receiving corps of A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, and now you got Saquon Barkley and Dallas Goedert's not a bad tight end either. They got a pretty good team.
Yeah, they do. It's just kind of a mystery.
Do I hear trepidation in your voice, Rock, that you're not – where before you thought the Eagles were going to be right in it again with a great chance, and now you're kind of pulling back on that a little bit? Am I reading good?
You are like as off as you are in your politics on that.
Oh, stop. My politics are dead solid perfect.
You said that.
What I mean is you're just so dead left. And so, but you're asking me if I'm coming down. I just said that they just added a wide receiver.
I know you did.
That is going to make this team even better.
Yes, but then you said you talked about the rift between. Why is that?
I didn't say there was one. He said, I'm saying I don't think you believe in the rift. I don't believe there was a rift.
Okay.
I'm not buying into the Philly media.
Okay.
So no, I think I'm going to stick by Eagles and Ravens.
Okay.
Done.
Okay.
That's my Super Bowl pick.
Okay.
Was Jimmy still at the beach? Was he still in?
He's clubbing.
No, he's still in the club.
He's still in the club, yeah.
Oh, and this last clip that I have talks about Jimmy B again, talking about him being a big partier.
I get it.
Or
the whole
you show
experience.
up for 20 minutes at the tailgate.
If that, yeah.
Not for 2.5 hours.
I think the enthusiasm is even more so. I think I'm like you, Jim. Like, we're gonna go and have fun. And if the team's 0-12, I'm
This
like,
is coming from two guys that don't tailgate. You're a former player, and Jimmy's been in the booth. So you guys haven't really been that
I would go to the game let's say I'm calling the game in Kansas City.
Yeah.
I would get to the stadium probably 2 hours early just to hang out in the parking lot and walk through what is going on there with the brisket and the steaks, and fans are saying, come on over and have a bite. Come have a bite. That's what I loved about it.
BS on that, Jimmy.
That's what I did.
No, guys, come on. Are you kidding me? This Jimmy B?
We chat Later, after the game is over, Wilt comes over and says, "Wait, why don't you guys come up to the house?"
I mean, we know this guy is a big partier. He loves to do
Yes.
this.
Wilt Chamberlain. Wow.
I am.
So Jimmy's rolling in Kansas City, and people are, come on over. What's he wearing? The CBS jacket?
Yeah.
I mean, how do they know who he is?
Whatever. Yeah. He's taste testing everything, right? He's part
When
of
I
the.
say tailgating, you're actually tailgating. You're eating, you're drinking.
Sure you are.
He's not doing that before a game.
No, he's not. That's why I said I call BS on that one too.
Shoe.
So I have one more. Okay. And
This
listen,
your going away present for us?
again, extended vacation.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've got one
okay.
more here for you. So we spend a lot of time on the air. Okay. One person more than anybody else, and that would be Dan Manucci. 15 hours every single week, words into a microphone. Sometimes words are very difficult. Sometimes words don't get pronounced easily. Well, here you go.
But you're right. This kid, I would think by this time of the year, after last year, I would think he'd be minimally. Maybe
what was that word?
Minimally. Yeah, say that 10 times. Minimally. Yeah, on the millennial side of the kid.
Yeah, go ahead. Keep going. This is going to make the rewind later in the week. Go ahead. Keep going.
Minimally. There you go.
Still don't think you got it, but go ahead. Keep trying.
Close. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, we got you.
On the minimum side.
That's something
That's
I
awesome.
would do. That is great.
That's on the board.
So we're in studio that day. So I'm watching Manuch, and he's looking at me, and he's looking at Jimmy B. I'm like, I don't know what you're trying to say. I can't help you.
Minimally. That's it. I was trying to just get a little ahead of myself.
Can we play that one more time?
Sure. You want to play it again? We can play it again.
But you're right. This kid, I would think by this time of the year, after last year, I would think he'd be minimally, maybe
what was that word?
Minimally. Yeah, say that 10 times. Minimally. Yeah, on the fourth try. On the millennial side of the kid.
Yeah, go ahead. Keep going. This is going to make the rewind later in the week. Go ahead. Keep going.
Oh, I knew it.
There you go. I like when you hear Jimmy B go, yeah?
Well, because you know what? Jimmy B realized in the moment this is going to make the rewind on Friday, and they're not going to make fun of me, so keep going.
That's amazing.
All right, we're going to go up to Denver, catch up with Fox Sports Radio's Brandon Cristal, break down this Broncos team, but more importantly, the news that just came out with the Denver Post and Deion Sanders. We'll get into that next. Right here.
Clear.
Hold. Here's what's trending on Fox Sports 910 Phoenix.
The Diamondbacks look to make it 4 wins in a row as they open a 3-game series against the Red Sox. Ryan Nelson on the mound, and he'll reportedly stay in the rotation with Jordan Montgomery heading to the bullpen. Darius Robinson, the Cardinals' rookie defensive tackle, suffered a calf injury yesterday. He's undergoing tests to determine the extent of the injury. Wideout Zay Jones hit with a 5-game suspension for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy. Preseason football tomorrow here on Fox Sports 910. As the Cowboys battle the Chargers, our coverage starts at 12:30, and the Mercury take on the Dream in Atlanta again today. I'm Frank Garrity on Fox Sports 910, available everywhere on the free iHeartRadio app.
This is the Parker & Sons Weather Center. For all your AC, plumbing, and electric needs, call Parker.
For tonight, look for mostly clear skies, some breezier conditions. Overnight low right around 82. And then for your weekend, things are not looking too bad. Plenty of sunshine and those temperatures right around where they should be at 105 for your Saturday and Sunday. For the Fox 10 Weather Experts, I'm Ty Brennan.
This report is sponsored by ChumbaCasino.com.
Hey, it's Ryan Seacrest here. And if you're looking for some serious fun, head over to ChumbaCasino.com. At Chumba Casino, you can play all your favorite social casino-style games for free anytime, anywhere. It's the most fun you can have on your phone or computer.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
If you haven't tried G2G protein bars, today is the day. Find them in your local Costco's refrigerated section or online at G2GBar.com. Incredible taste and packed with protein. They are perfect for your on-the-go lifestyle. Check them out today.
Join the team at the largest towing company in the state, All City Towing. We're hiring dispatchers, call takers, lot attendants, drivers, and customer service personnel. Enjoy benefits like the state's most advanced towing equipment, set work schedules, a healthy 401k employer match, health benefits, employer-paid life insurance, and a monthly fuel allowance. Ready to take your career to the next level? Visit us at allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is on the move.
Introducing Smidge, the game-changing, ready-to-drink beverage that's shaking up the market. With just 2.5% alcohol and only 50 calories in a 12-ounce serving, Smidge is perfect for the sober curious. Smidge better taste, fewer calories, and double the fun.
Try it today.
Craving a sandwich that packs a punch? Welcome to Knuckle Sandwiches in Mesa. We're not your typical sandwich shop. All our menu items are made in-house using family recipes passed down for generations. Taste the difference in every bite. And we don't stop at sandwiches. Enjoy our mouth-watering breakfast burritos and delicious bagel sandwiches. Plus, we cater all over the valley for your next event. Find us at 1140 North Higley in North Point Village, next to Bashis', or skip the line and order online at knucklesandwichesaz.com. Knuckle Sandwiches. This is the knuckle sandwich your parents should have given you.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
He's good.
Sarah Spain with iHeart Women's Sports, presented by Capital One. After a lengthy Olympic break, NWSL regular season games resume this weekend. Here are a couple to watch. Saturday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, Gotham versus Portland Thorns. 8 gold medal winning players from the Paris Games expected to take the field in that matchup. And at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Saturday, San Diego.
No, the Giannis mess up's still the best one.
Its first regular season game as head coach of the.
Yeah, but it's not though, because he just had to say no Greek freak, but then he tried to show off.
Podcasts.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It was really cool. It's, not every day to get that news, but obviously, as a room, we've been working hard. And putting a lot of good things on film, putting a lot of good things on the practice field, and so to get that news is definitely a great thing, and so I'm super excited and ready to get back to work again and go back to it and start again.
That's Bo Nix on being named starter for the Denver Broncos. Now we get up to Denver. Brandon Cristal joins us, Fox Sports Radio in Denver. You can follow him on X, Twitter, BK Denver Sports. And he joins us now. Brandon, before we get into the Broncos, we would love to get your take on the latest at Colorado with Deion Sanders. And basically, he doesn't want to talk to one specific columnist there at the Denver Post, Sean Keeler. When did this all come about, and is it creating a stir amongst media members there?
Yeah, it's funny because when I saw the story and I heard the interaction from Fall Sports Media Day a couple of weeks ago, talked to Sean. So Sean's one of actually my really good friends, and at most sporting events where we'll both be covering our practice, we gravitate towards each other because I think we just enjoy goofing around, and we're both soccer fans, and he's an Iowa guy who went to Northwestern, but appreciates the greatness of the Jayhawks and talking Big 12 and all of that. So, but he's not just a guy in town that I know. He's certainly, I called him and he answered right away. And I was like, dude, what is going on here? And so it's obviously, if you read the story, it's not that big of a surprise on the timing because they sent this letter a couple of weeks ago. But what's curious is that Deion is a state employee. Now, he's making a lot of money, and some of that is certainly coming through their NIL deals and boosters and all of that. So he isn't getting his entire salary from taxpayer dollars, but he is still a state employee and subject to some of the same scrutiny that any other state employee would be. And so, look, Deion's overly sensitive. Sean's been critical of him, but not to the point where he's like picking on him. And Sean asked Shador a question last year after one of the tough losses that was pointed, but it wasn't like, hey, this was screwed up or this teammate. It was just, it was a question you would ask an athlete, right? And so since then, Deion's had it out for Sean. And so Sean covers the team more than any of the columnists for any of the outlets, whether it's his old colleague Mark Kisley, who's now at the Gazette, Woody Page, who works for the Gazette, Paul Klee, who runs the Gazette and is a columnist, or Troy Rank, who's the new columnist that replaced Kisley at the Post. He's there more than any columnist and more than any talk show host. And so I think it's going to become a bigger deal when Deion could have just kind of continued to blow them off or answer them with one-word answers, which we see coaches do all the time or players do all the time when they don't like a reporter. So I'm not sure how this is going to end as it relates to the Post and Sean, especially because they're going to keep letting Sean be credentialed to watch the little bit of practice, which is about the only time that Deion's actually out there if you listen to some of the people in the know. And then once the cameras are gone and the reporters are gone, Deion isn't always there for all the practice. So the rumors have it, and he'll get to cover games, and he'll get to talk to other CU athletic department coaches, athletes, as well as administrators. So the other thing too is the Denver Post is going to be around a lot longer than Deion will, even if he does stay beyond this year. And so the university has to be aware of that as well, and sensitive to that relationship or coverage, because if the Post abandons them, then it's just one of the biggest outlets totally ignoring them.
Brandon, I was going to say, are there any consequences to this action? Is there any kind of, I guess, retort coming from the Denver Post or everybody else or the other reporters to maybe, I don't have a silent protest or, this is just wrong. It's like, hey, Deion, if you can't take the heat, get out the kitchen. I mean, is he that thin-skinned of an individual? And it seems as though Deion, you probably know this, Brandon, he seems to be getting more and more and more full of himself as time goes on there in Denver.
Yeah, and look, this is a very, heated political time, right? And Colorado was once a battleground state. It is not the way it was. It's certainly purple at times, but all the big elections tend to be voting blue these days. We understand how Arizona is truly a battleground state, but I don't think it's the craziest analogy in the world to compare Deion Sanders to Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. And when I say that, it's just like when you talk about their personality and the people they surround themselves with, and how as long as you're helping them, they'll help you, right? But I know that Deion has certainly turned off several former players, including several great players, college Hall of Fame types, national award winner types, guys that are, mainstays in the program. Darian Hagan being the best example, who's worked at CU since he got out of pro ball in some form or another, sometimes as a coach, sometimes helping with recruiting, whatever it may be. And he left with Sean Lewis, last year's offensive coordinator, who got the head coaching job at San Diego State, to go work with him in San Diego State and leave the place that he had been at for the better part of 30 years or more, because it just it didn't feel right. So while the couple of people that Deion knows from his time in the pros are excited to see you are so close with them, like Michael Westbrook and guys like that, lots of other former Buffs aren't. So the long-term ramifications, I haven't heard anything about a media boycott. I don't know, because he's a public institution and he's a state employee, how that exactly is affected, if at all. And so he is really thin-skinned, and he lets silly things bother him. And at the same time, very obvious things, like when there's a position switch or a player's hurt and the backup comes in and someone says, hey, tell us about, just like on a Tuesday press conference, tell us about so-and-so that's in this week. And he's like, who's that again? And I go, 55. He's like, oh, the guard. Yeah. He doesn't even know his starters and his replacements some of the time. And so, look, his son's really talented. The quarterback, his other son is a hard hitter. Travis Hunter, who's like a son to him now, very talented. And we know what a phenomenal player and athlete Deion was. But Deion, the head coach, is at times showing some of his true colors. But you remember going back to the interaction with Tim McCarver, going back to the Braves in the early 90s, and him not liking those those interactions either, and dumping an ice bucket on Tim McCarver when they won the pennant. So I think it's just more of Deion reminding people the other side to him that you don't always see when you splash him that $1 million smile.
Brandon, they dropped this on a Friday, of course. That's the best time to drop these kind of deals. I mean, because I could see Sean Keeler being on the Dan Patrick Show, being on Colin Cowherd, doing his national rounds, because this does resonate with a lot of people because it's Deion. Do you expect that to get, will the 24-hour news cycle be over, or do you expect this to kind of get some legs on Monday?
No, the reason why I think it's going to get some legs on Monday is because, we have a couple college games, but we know that the full slate doesn't start till next week. Mm-hmm. They're going to be nationally televised in a game that they certainly could lose against North Dakota State here in Boulder Thursday night. Oh. And so that kind of kicks off the weekend. We know you have a few games this weekend, kind of your appetizer. But also, if you're really big football nerds like we are, you guys are paying attention to what the Cardinals are doing at the back end of their roster. Certainly, we're paying attention to what the Broncos are doing at the back end of their roster. But for the most part, the casual fan is just ready for opening day, and that's not going to be until either the 5th or the 6th if you're one of those 4 teams, or September 8th. So I can almost guarantee you, and because it's on a holiday, they really should have done it. I don't know, maybe last week during the game or something, right? But you're going to have all weekend for Colin Calvert, for Dan Patrick, and just go on down the list of national media outlets that want to reach out to get Sean Keeler's side of the story. Now, I know Sean doesn't mind going on radio or TV or whatever, but I don't know what the conversation is with his bosses. It also gives them a couple of days, and I know they've already kind of been working through this. What's funny is I was with Sean at the BMW Championships out here. We've got the PGA event, first time in a decade that we've had one out here. And so I was with Sean 2 days ago, and he obviously knew about the letter, but it didn't come up at all. So I only got about 2 minutes when I talked to him a little earlier, and he said he'd call me back because someone else was calling from his office. But if I'm them, I do. If Sean's going to ask me my opinion, and I think I'll see him play the Broncos game, I would do that stuff, but that's more just to kind of put an indictment on Dion, if you will, just to remind people that that's who this guy is, and let's not be surprised when he leaves this year, when his son and Travis Hunter are done playing. Not that he will, and maybe despite people or to prove people wrong, he'll stay. The other side of it too is though we know that they may not buy ink by the barrel anymore, but there's no limit to how many words in a column you can have online and how quick that can circulate the globe. So it'll be interesting to see the tack that Sean and the Post take if they're going to continue just write critically, especially if it's earned. If they lose games, Dion behaves in a silly manner, he's probably making it worse versus what we talked about just a minute ago, versus just kind of blowing Sean off in every press conference.
Brandon Kristoff, Fox Sports Radio in Denver, joining us here on the right to guest line. All right, Brandon, was the Bo Nix job, was it that Jared Stidham, was it his to start with, or did Bo Nix just come and beat him out, or did Sean Payton just need to see the growth after a couple games to name one Bo Nix the starter?
Yeah, I think it was that. And at some point maybe this was the last time I'm going to do it, but I've been given Dave Logan, longtime voice of the Broncos, he's in his 35th year calling games now. He said this to us on our morning show the day camp started. And we, obviously the battle was just getting going again after what we saw in the spring or whatever, right? He said he thinks Bo Nix is going to have to show Sean and the coaching staff and George Payton, the GM and ownership, that he can't do the job. Well, not only did he show the opposite, he showed that it looks like he can do the job and at least operate the offense the way Sean Payton envisions it, on time, relatively on target. We know that'll change when the defensive looks change and all of that, but getting the ball out quickly, making a decision, getting to his second and third reads, pulling the ball down and running for extra yards when he needs to. So I think he's passed out with flying colors. I guess they were vanilla looks against both the Colts and the Packers in the games everybody saw, but I saw the joint practice, we all did, and he handled himself just fine, threw the ball to Cortland Sutton, threw a couple touchdown passes in the team periods against the Packers once a week ago Friday. So he's passing the test. He seems like the type of quarterback Sean Payton wants. Sean's taking his reputation to him to some degree by taking him in the first round and moving on from Russell Wilson and eating all that money. So it wasn't an inevitability, but as Sean pointed out now multiple times, including with Kay Adams, and again, the other day, they had a process. They were never going to name him the starter from day one. So, it made Sean's skin crawl, the idea that they would do something like Chicago did with Caleb Williams, that any rookie wouldn't get a chance to come in and fight and earn the job, even if they are drafted high. He just was never going to do that. And so Bo came in, and what's interesting too, and Mitch, you can speak to this because you're a quarterback and work with quarterbacks. Some guys, we can name them, the ones that do it all the way through the pros, but have been the starter their whole life. And we've got a couple of them that have come through here that we got to talk to the golf tournament and the Pro-Am on Wednesday, and John Elway and Peyton Manning. But I asked Bo Nix 2 weeks ago, when did you start playing football and how long have you been the starter? And he said he started in 7th grade, was a starter. In 8th grade, he was the varsity backup and JV starter for half the season until they made him the varsity starter as an 8th grader there in Alabama. And I guess I should have followed up with, was his dad the coach of that team, which he may have been. But his dad's not just going to play an 8th grade son just because he's a son, right? He still wants to win games. And then he's been the starter ever since. He has not been the starter since the middle of 8th grade, including the 3 years at Auburn, the 2 years at Oregon, and now being the first rookie draft pick or the first rookie to start game one, because I guess technically John wasn't a draft pick, since John Elway in 1983. So it wasn't an inevitability, but he did go out and earn the job by outplaying the other two guys.
Hey, I just want to commend your KU Jayhawks for starting off with a juggernaut Lindenwood.
Lindenwood in Missouri they might be the second best football team in Missouri. Not that I ever want to give the Tigers credit, but we'll see when the dust settles at the end of the year. We only lost 4 guys in the portal, but I know K-State will certainly be will be a tough test for my Jayhawks, and Okie State will have something to say about the league as well. And shoot, I think the Arizona Wildcats might, and I think Utah will be tough as well. I mean, that's why all 5 of those programs are in the top 25.
Brandon, we always enjoy having you on, man. Thanks for the time. Have a great weekend.
Hey, thanks, guys. I'll talk to you here soon.
That's Brandon Cristal. You can follow him on Twitter, X, BK Denver Sports. We didn't get into a lot of Bronco talk there because of the news with Deion Sanders, but I think we'll have some things to talk about on Monday, I am sure. But we'll finish up here at Wright Toyota. Speaking of Wright Toyota, he is brought to you by Wright Toyota today. The right price, the right selection, Wright Toyota here in Scottsdale and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard. They have the right deal for everyone. Right now, check it all out. Their inventory on the pre-owned certifieds, under $15,000 at wrighttoyota.com. That's wrighttoyota.com. We'll finish up next right here on Fox Sports 910.
Valley traffic from the Valley Toyota Dealers Traffic Center.
We have an accident at the intersection of Grand and 103rd Avenue. It's shut down due to a wreck. Watch for a collision on eastbound I-10 near Broadway. That's been moved off to your left. And eastbound I-10 near 67th Avenue, the HOV lane's blocked.
This report is sponsored by iHeartAdvertising.com.
Is it getting harder to find new customers? Be heard right here on the radio, your favorite podcast or streaming channel. As the #1 audio company in America, we can help. Visit iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
Ready for some football? Join our annual Pro Football Pick'em contest today. You could win $5,000 and amazing prizes from Twin Peaks, Blue Moon, and Coors Light. Don't miss out on the excitement. Head to fanpick'em.com. That's fanpick'em.com.
You may not have any experience dealing with car wrecks, but Lerner and Rowe does. After your car wreck, you need an attorney to make sure your interests, like car repairs, medical bills, and lost wages, are protected. Finding the right attorney is actually easy. Just look for reputation, experience, and results. Lerner and Rowe has thousands of 5-star reviews, decades of experience, and we've recovered billions of dollars for our injured clients. Hurt in a wreck and need a check? Call Lerner and Rowe today.
Lerner and Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
It's Jason Payne, owner of State 48 Roofing and your sexy status roof guy on Instagram and Facebook. Lesser roofers cut corners, cobbling together patchwork roofs to meet a budget, not State 48 Roofing. Give us a call today for your maintenance, repair, or full replacement needs.
Sun Devil football is back. Don't miss a minute of the action when Sun Devil football returns to Mountain America Stadium as a member of the Big 12 Conference to take on the Wyoming Cowboys Saturday, August 31st at 7:30 p.m.
Scattaboo with the catch, has the first down, stays on his feet, and he's going to go. Touchdown, Devils!
Get your ASU Wyoming tickets today by calling 480-727-0000 or go online to sundeviltickets.com.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them. With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise. No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures. It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
This is the story of the one. As a warehouse manager, her job is to transform chaos into clarity and to see patterns where others see problems. Luckily, she's got a partner who shares her perspective. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products, backed by real person support and in-depth online resources, so she can tackle every task with precision and turn potential setbacks into streamlined success. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Now back to the Roc and Manuch Show, live from Wright Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the selection, and always right on the price. Wright Toyota, 77th Street and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale, and online at wrighttoyota.com. It's the Lerner and Rowe. One call, that's all. Call of the day. If you're looking for a full-service law firm, just make one call. That's all. 602-977-1900. Lerner and Rowe, voted Arizona's best law firm.
But you're right. This kid, I would think by this time of the year, after last year,
Yeah.
I would think he'd be minimally, maybe two.
What was that word?
Minimally. Yeah, say that 10 times. Minimally. Yeah, on the millennial side of the kid.
Yeah, go ahead. Keep going. This is going to make the rewind later in the week. Go ahead. Keep going.
Minimally. There you go.
Still don't think you got it, but go ahead,
so
keep trying.
close. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, we got
You're
it.
hot.
On the minimum side, minimally.
You're like, say that 10 times. Can't even say it once.
Oh, I got it. I can do it now. Minimally.
Interact, need a check, make one. Call that. It's all 602-977-1900 and always at learnroad.com. So that is our one call, and that is Manuch from earlier.
Got a little tongue-tied there. The coffee kicked in right around there.
So here's your schedule for the weekend. This is something I miss, is to tell you what games to watch this weekend when it comes to football. So here's your schedule for football, all right, college football. It all starts at 6 a.m. tomorrow. Get up, game day from Dublin. You know it's going to be awesome. Florida State, Georgia Tech, 9 a.m. Montana State at New Mexico at 1 o'clock, followed by North Alabama out Southeast Missouri State. That's on ESPN at 4 o'clock. So an FCS game getting on the Big 4 Network.
Yeah.
SMU at Nevada. That is at 5 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. Now, you also got some preseason games. Steelers, Lions at 10, followed by Chargers at Cowboys, Giants at Jets, Browns at Seahawks. All those games are on the NFL Network. And then on Sunday, Titans, Saints at 11 to get you started. And then the Broncos-Cardinals game, that's at 1:30 on Channel 5. And Channel 12 will have a Sunday night game.
Yeah.
Patriots and Commanders.
Oh, an exciting showdown that's going to be.
5:30 on
Yep,
that
the
one.
backups of the
Of course,
backups.
D-backs have the Red Sox all weekend, 4 o'clock today, 4:10 to be exact. They'll be right around 1 o'clock, 1:10 tomorrow, and then 10:35 in the morning on Sunday.
Speaking of the Cardinals and Broncos, our State 48 Roofing It's Your Call question of the day, which you can go to at Roc and Manuch on Twitter. Who has more to prove for the backup QB job with the Cardinals? Again, just go to at Roc and Manuch on Twitter. Desmond Ridder or Clayton Tune. Currently, Desmond Ridder, 62.5%, or Clayton Tune, which is at 37.5%. I voted Desmond Ridder. I think he's going to have to come in. Looks like he's going to have the second half since Clayton Tune's going to start. I think Clayton Tune's going to need the entire first half. Desmond Ridder will come in the second half just to show more consistency, a little more accuracy, a little more command that he's got this offense down. But I think that, quite frankly, guys, this will probably go into next week or the next week and a half before they name an actual backup. Or there might be somebody out there that they see that might get released, a veteran that might get released, or maybe take a hard look at Ryan Tannehill. I doubt they do that. But I think they keep all three. But I think Desmond Ridder's got to really go above and beyond to go ahead and prove to this staff that he can come in there, at least from the accuracy standpoint and knowing the offense.
I'm anxious to see if they are happy with these two guys. If there is somebody else that becomes available, do they grab them? You know.
Well,
they got a lot of other positions they got to worry about.
Well, they do, and I think that they're going to know. I think was it late Monday night, early Tuesday, who's available, who's out there. Not only for the quarterback position, but other positions out there. Linebacking position, corners, defensive end,
anybody that plays defense.
Well,
sign up for the Cardinals.
That's maybe a solid that's better, because Monty Ossenfort and his staff look for how can we improve this team if we can with all the cuts, because they'll have 2 weeks to make that decision and getting those guys ready, which is the benefactor of having that time off before the first game.
Speaking of time off, Shoot, we love you, man. Have a fun extended vacation.
I got 2 days with you guys next week. Don't worry. Extended vacation doesn't start until next Wednesday.
Oh, I did not know that. All right, then screw you.
But are you giving them 2 extra days, Rock?
I'll give 2 more. I just thought, usually you go on vacation on a Friday.
Yeah.
Not on a Wednesday.
Well, he's odd that way,
Yeah, just the timing of the vacation, the flights. This is just the way
cheaper
it worked
flights
out.
on Wednesday.
That is true.
It was easier to leave.
And the Mets are coming in town too, Rock. So
20.
there you go.
Geez. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll be back Monday.